Hey there, coin lovers. Have you ever dug through your pocket change and thought, could this penny be worth a fortune? Well, grab a seat, because today we're diving into one of those sneaky little pennies that could be worth more than just 1 cent. I'm talking about the 1960 Lincoln penny. But first, let me hit you with a quick question. How many of you have tossed pennies without a second thought? Yeah, I've been guilty of that too. But you might want to take another look at those coins, especially if you have a 1960 sitting around. You might think, just a cent, right? But let me tell you, sometimes pennies can be more like a hidden treasure chest in disguise. So, in this video, we'll talk about the value of the 1960 Lincoln penny, how it ended up being special, and why it might just be the most unexpected hero of your coin collection. Spoiler alert, it's not just worth 1 cent. Stick around, this is going to be fun. Alright, let's set the stage a little bit. Picture it, the year is 1960. Elvis is shaking his hips, and the world is on the brink of the space age. But here's something even more important happening, a change to the U.S. Mint's production process. In 1960, the U.S. Mint decided to switch up the design of the Lincoln penny, and some of the coins produced that year came with a unique twist. The 1960 penny comes in two varieties, the small date and the large date. You see, it all came down to how the numbers were printed on the die, and as a result, there's this super rare small date variety that's worth way more than its counterpart, the large date. So now you're probably wondering, how do I tell the difference between these two? Great question. The small date will have a much more compact, almost squeezed-in look to the 9 and 0 in 1960. Whereas, the large date has a wider, more spaced-out design. Now, let's get into why you should care about this. Now, we're focusing on the 1960 D, the one with a D mint mark, indicating it was produced in Denver. And that mint mark is where the treasure hunt begins. While the 1960 D penny isn't extremely rare, it can still pack some value, especially if you have one in mint condition or if it's the small date variety. Here's the kicker. If you've got a 1960 small date penny in pristine shape, it could fetch anywhere between $50 to $100 in today's market. So, no more just tossing pennies in the jar. We're talking about a bit of pocket change with some real potential, and here's the part that'll either excite you or make you wish you had a time machine. A poorly circulated or worn out 1960 penny is worth about $1.50. Not bad for a single penny, right? What's the big deal? Well, if you're someone who loves to hunt for rare coins, you'll understand this, that $1.50 is still way more than you'd get if you tried to cash it in at the bank. And it's a lot better than the flat-out zero you'd get from tossing a penny into a fountain wishing for more change. Let's talk about what makes these pennies valuable. Coin condition matters a lot here. The value can go up depending on how well the coin is preserved. If your 1960 D looks like it's been dragged through the dirt or chewed on by the family dog, we've all been there, you're looking at a pretty modest value. But if it's in that beautiful, shiny mint condition, you could be looking at a surprising payday. And let's not forget about market trends. Coin collecting isn't always predictable. Sometimes, demand for a specific coin will spike, and the value will go up, even if it wasn't that special before. So, if you're holding on to a 1960 D penny, who knows? In a few years, it could be worth more than a fancy cup of coffee. Okay, quick little personal story time. A couple of years ago, I was going through a box of old change I had sitting in my drawer, you know, the one that's filled with random coins that you forget about until you desperately need a quarter for the laundry machine. Anyway, I was about to toss a bunch of pennies into my spare change jar when I noticed something shiny and kind of old looking. I pulled out a 1960 D penny that looked a lot better than the others. I did a quick Google search and boom. I realized it was a 1960 D small date. It wasn't in mint condition, but I still couldn't believe I had something with a little extra value in my collection. I didn't get rich overnight, but that little penny went from just another coin to a small reminder that treasure is often hiding in the most unexpected places. So, what did we learn today? The 1960 D Lincoln penny is more than just a penny, it's a piece of history that can actually be worth more than its face value, especially if you've got one in good shape or the elusive small date variety. Who knew pennies could hold so much potential, right? But hey, don't just take my word for it. Go ahead, start checking your change jars, your piggy banks, and any loose pennies you have lying around. Who knows? You might just be sitting on a small fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coin collecting, and you want more tips on finding hidden gems in your change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on future videos with coin strategies, market trends, and more cool finds. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and happy hunting for those rare pennies. Don't forget to hit like if you found this interesting. Who knew a little copper coin could be so exciting, right? Alright, coin collectors and casual treasure hunters, stop scrolling, because I've got a penny that could be worth more than your morning coffee, and I'm not talking about one of those overpriced lattes either. I'm talking about a coin that has a mystery, yes, a genuine mystery, that could just put a little extra cash in your pocket. You see, not every penny is created equal, and today, we're diving into the world of the 1972 Lincoln penny with NO mint mark. A penny that might just be hiding its true worth. And if you're thinking, a penny's a penny, right? Well, buckle up, because you might want to take a closer look at that loose change you've got lying around. Let's jump into it. Cut to a close-up of the penny, with zoom-ins on different features of the coin. Here's the deal, if you have a 1972 Abraham Lincoln penny with NO mint mark, you might be looking at a little piece of history that could be worth around $1.60 today. That's right, you heard me, $1.60. Now, I know what you're thinking, wait, that's not exactly a gold mine. But hang on, this isn't your typical penny. Let me tell you why. Host holds up a regular 1972 penny for comparison. Here's a regular 1972 penny, and look at that, nothing special, right? But now, let's say you find one of these with no mint mark. Where's the mint mark, you ask? Well, the mint mark would usually be right here, on the front of the coin, under the year. If you see a D there, that means it was minted in Denver. And S means San Francisco. But, if you see nothing, that's a mystery coin. It should have had a mint mark, but it didn't. And that makes it a bit rarer. Before we get too excited, I'm not saying you're about to retire early with a bunch of these pennies. But that little lack of a mint mark can add some value, especially to collectors who are on the lookout for coins that don't quite fit the norm. Plus, if the condition of your 1972 penny is good, maybe it's in mint state, or even better, uncirculated, well, now we're talking a higher price, like $1.60 or even a bit more. Cuts to a graphic showing a price chart of the 1972 penny's value based on condition. Check this out, in average circulated condition, a 1972 no mint mark penny can fetch you around $1.60. But if it's in uncirculated or excellent condition, you might be looking at a penny that could be worth a little more. And this is where things get fun, because that $1.60 could be the tip of the iceberg if you've got one of these bad boys in pristine shape. Host looks thoughtful and nostalgic, holding a penny in their hand. Let me tell you, I know how easy it is to miss the value in something small. I remember a couple of years ago, I found this old coin in my grandma's couch cushions. I was looking for spare change to buy a snack, and boom, I pull out this coin. I thought, it's just another penny, and threw it into my coin jar. But one day, I was at a coin show, and I showed it to this dealer. He takes one look at it and says, "Do you know what you've got here?" I was like, a penny. Turns out, it was a 1943 steel penny, totally rare, and worth hundreds of dollars. Imagine my shock when I found out my couch coin was actually worth a small fortune. Moral of the story: never underestimate the value of a penny, because you never know when you'll strike gold, or, in this case, $1.60. And by the way, I totally didn't sell it. Still got that penny somewhere in my collection, starts pacing back and forth while holding up a magnifying glass and examining coins, let's talk about the market value for a sec. If you're into coin collecting or flipping, you're probably aware that some of these smaller, rarer coins can see their value increase over time. The 1972 penny with no mint mark isn't likely to make you a millionaire overnight, but for collectors, it's a bit of a fun treasure hunt. Coins like these are usually sold through dealers, auction sites, or specialized coin shops, and prices can fluctuate based on demand, the condition of the coin, and sometimes just sheer luck. Remember, if you ever decide to sell, make sure you're getting a fair deal. Don't walk into your local pawn shop and let them talk you out of a gem like this. Take a moment, do some research, heck, get yourself a coin guidebook. It's like dating, don't settle for the first offer. T sits down with a pile of coins and leans in, speaking directly to the camera. So, to wrap this up, that 1972 Lincoln penny without a mint mark might seem like just another old coin, but it's actually a small treasure waiting to be discovered. And who knows, maybe you've got one in your jar, and it's just waiting for its moment to shine. If you're a coin enthusiast, or even just curious about what you might find hidden in your spare change, stick around because we've got more tips coming your way. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more coin tips, tricks, and stories about hidden treasures. And hey, if you've got a 1972 penny with no mint mark, or any other cool coin stories, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you found. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. Upbeat music plays as the end screen pops up with links to more videos about coins worth money. Subscribe for more coin tips. Hey, fellow coin lovers. Wait, before you scroll away to watch another cat video or a prank, listen up. Do you have a 1974 Lincoln penny? No mint mark on it? I know, you're thinking, ugh, another penny. Who cares? Well, hold your horses, because you might be holding on to a hidden treasure worth more than a fancy cup of coffee at Starbucks. That's right, my friend. This little copper coin might be worth $1.70, or more, if you've got one of the rare ones. So, stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll know how to spot that elusive 1974 penny and exactly how much it could be worth today. And no, I'm not kidding. So let's dive in. Cue fun intro animation with music and flashy graphics showcasing the title, 1974 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln Penny Value. Alright, let's set the stage for a little history lesson. In 1974, the US Mint produced billions of pennies, but here's the kicker, some of them were made without a mint mark. Most pennies you find today have a mint mark, whether it's a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or none at all. But in 1974, there was something a little weird going on, and some of those pennies ended up in circulation with no mint mark. Now, before you grab that jar of pennies you've got sitting around in your drawer or under your bed, don't lie, we all have one. Hold up. It's important to note, there's a big difference between regular 1974 pennies and those rare 1974 pennies with no mint mark. Shows a close-up of a normal 1974 penny and a rare 1974 penny with no mint mark. So, what makes these no mint mark pennies special? Well, the US Mint typically puts mint marks on most of their coins. But, in 1974, there was a bit of a snafu. You see, there were some pennies made in Philadelphia, and guess what? They didn't add that little P mint mark on some of them. We're talking about pennies that were basically forgotten, the forgotten children of the coin world. And now, these missing mint marks have become highly sought after by collectors. Now, let's talk value. So, what's the deal with this 1974 no mint mark penny? Is it a gold mine or just a nice memory from your pocket change days? Well, the current value of a 1974 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is roughly $1.70. Yes, you heard me right. A penny that's worth over $1. That's not a typo, folks. Imagine, just for a second, if you had a pocket full of these babies. Forget about retirement plans, just start stacking those 1974 no-mint mark pennies. But maybe don't go that far. But it's not always that easy, right? This isn't just about finding any old 1974 penny. The condition of the coin matters too. Like a fine wine, these coins can age beautifully, or they can be worn down and beat up from years of handling and harsh circulation. Collectors love those coins in mint condition, so if you find a 1974 penny that looks like it's been through a battle with a washing machine, you might not be getting the top dollar. Shows a well-worn coin and then a shiny one for comparison. Let me tell you a funny story. So, a few months ago, I was sorting through a jar of pennies I've been collecting for years, mostly just for fun. And there I was, thinking, these are just pennies. Who needs them? I had no idea that I was about to find not one, but two 1974 no-mint mark pennies in perfect condition. It was like a light bulb moment. I swear, I heard the angels singing, Hallelujah. Okay, maybe not angels singing, but you get the point. I was stoked. I did some research, and I found out that these babies were worth a pretty penny. And let me tell you, if I had held onto them for a couple more years, I could probably sell them for more than what they're worth today. They really do go up in value over time. Alright, so now you know the scoop. The 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, while not going to make you a millionaire, could be worth a nice little chunk of change if you've got the right one in your collection. And hey, you might have a few sitting in that jar under your bed right now, just waiting to make you some extra cash. So, here's my challenge to you, go check your pocket change. Who knows? You could find a hidden gem. And if you do, send me a pic or comment below. I love hearing about these cool finds. Before you go running off to dig through your drawers, though, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of other tips and tricks to share with you about coins worth money, strategies to get the best deals, and all kinds of fun coin stories. You don't want to miss out. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Thanks for hanging out today, and good luck on your coin hunts. Catch you in the next video, where we'll dig deeper into other rare finds. Peace out. Alright, folks, let's play a game. What if I told you that this little copper coin in my hand, yep, this tiny, everyday penny, could be worth more than, well, a penny? Pauses for dramatic effect. Would you believe me? Or would you think I'm just another guy on the internet hyping up spare change? Today, we're diving into the world of the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Is it rare? Is it valuable? Can you quit your job if you find one? Spoiler, no, but hey, every penny counts, right? Stick around, because I'm breaking down everything you need to know about this coin, its history, its value, and a super relatable story about how I learned the hard way that not every old penny is worth a fortune. Oh, and if you love finding hidden treasure in your pocket change, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss the money-making secrets I've got in store. Now, let's talk pennies. So first, what's the deal with the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? You might be wondering, wait, no mint mark. Is this an error coin? A rare one-of-a-kind misprint? Should I start planning my luxury vacation to the Bahamas? Hold on there, treasure hunter. Let's break it down. In 1976, pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The ones from Denver had a little D on them, and the ones from San Francisco had an S, but the Philadelphia ones? Nothing. Zilch. No mint mark. And guess what? That's normal for pennies from Philly. So if you found one with no mint mark, congrats. You have a totally common penny. Yeah, I know, total buzzkill. But wait. There's still value to talk about. Because even though most 1976 pennies aren't worth more than face value, if you have one in super crisp, mint condition, what collectors call MS or mint state, you could be looking at a little extra change in your pocket. A circulated 1976 no-mint mark penny. Worth 1 cent. An uncirculated, super shiny, almost flawless version graded MS-65 or higher. Those can sell for around $1.10. Now, I know what you're thinking, wow, a whole $1.10. I can finally buy a half cup of gas. Okay, maybe not life-changing, but hey, it's still more than 1 cent. And if you have a really pristine one graded MS-67 or higher, you might score $20 or more. But before you start scrubbing your pennies with your mom's silver polish, don't. Cleaning coins ruins their value. Collectors want that natural, aged look. So if you find one that looks fresh out of a time machine, send it to a professional grading service instead. Okay, so let me tell you how I learned all this the hard way. A few years ago, I found a 1976 no-mint mark penny in my old piggy bank. I got so excited, I thought I was about to retire early. I mean, I really thought I was holding on to a jackpot. I rushed to the nearest coin shop, basically ready to cash out. The guy takes one look at it, chuckles, and says, "Yeah, that's worth a cent." I walked out of there with my dreams and my penny still intact. But hey, I learned an important lesson: just because it's old doesn't mean it's gold. So, lesson for you. Do your research before you start making retirement plans. So, is the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth money? In everyday condition, nope. But if you've got a high-grade, near-perfect one, you might just make a buck or two. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button. And if you want more tips on spotting rare coins, finding hidden treasure in your pocket change, or just learning weird and fun money facts, subscribe to the channel. Who knows, the next coin I talk about might just be hiding in your couch cushions. Alright, coin lovers, treasure hunters, and anyone who's ever picked up a penny and thought, hey, maybe this is worth a fortune. This video is for you. Today, we're diving deep into the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Could it be your ticket to early retirement, or is it just another sad, lonely cent at the bottom of your couch cushions? Let's find out. Spoiler alert, this little guy right here. It's not going to buy you a mansion. But, it does have a story, and if you're collecting, investing, or just curious, stick around, because I've got some juicy details you don't want to miss. So first things first, why doesn't this penny have a mint mark? Great question, my fellow numismatic nerds. The truth is, back in 1978, the U.S. Mint produced coins at 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But Philly? They like to keep things mysterious, no mint marks on their pennies. It's like they wanted us to guess where they came from. Classic Philadelphia, am I right? Now, if you were hoping this penny would be a once-in-a-lifetime find worth thousands. I hate to break it to you, but the standard 1978 no-mint mark penny is worth about 1.2 cents. Yep. A whole 1.2 cents, that's 20% more than face value. Not exactly an early retirement plan, but hey, money's money. But before you go tossing your pennies in frustration, there's a little more to the story. Condition is everything. If you find a 1978 penny in mint condition, I'm talking no scratches, no discoloration, no gum stuck to the back, you could be looking at a value of up to $100 or more in an auction. Mint condition, no scratches, dings, or pocket lint errors, printing mistakes, double strikes, or missing features, full, crisp details. Abe Lincoln's beard should be as glorious as ever. Red toning, a bright, shiny red penny is worth more than a dull brown one. Collector demand, if collectors want it, the price goes up. That's right, condition, errors, and demand can turn your everyday penny into a coin worth real money. So next time you find an old penny, don't just toss it, give it a closer look. You know, I used to think pennies were useless. I'd see them on the ground and just walk right by, thinking, not worth my time. But then, one fateful day, my grandpa, who was a huge coin nerd, handed me a dusty old penny and said, "This little guy could be special." I looked at it, rolled my eyes, and stuffed it in my pocket. Years later, I finally checked, and turns out it was a 1943 steel penny worth $50. Not life-changing, but way better than just leaving it on the sidewalk. Moral of the story: never ignore a penny, my friends. They might just surprise you. So, to recap, the 1978 no-mint mark penny isn't exactly a goldmine, but it's a great piece for collectors, and in the right condition, it could be worth more than you think. Plus, who doesn't love a little treasure hunt? Before you go, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a rare coin in your pocket change? Do you collect Lincoln pennies? Drop a comment below, I read them all. And hey, if you love finding hidden value in everyday things, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more coin collecting tips, tricks, and stories. Who knows? Your next penny could be a jackpot. Alright, quick question: have you ever just picked up a random penny off the ground and thought, could this be worth something? Yeah, me neither. Until one day, I found myself staring at a 1987 Lincoln penny, and I thought, I wonder if this tiny coin could make me a millionaire. Spoiler alert, it didn't. But I did discover something that might surprise you, and it might just change how you look at your change jar. But hey, don't hit that skip button just yet. If you've got a 1987 Lincoln penny hanging around, it might be worth more than just a single cent. And no, I'm not talking about the type of worth you feel when you find loose change under your couch cushions. I'm talking real coin value, like $1.30 and beyond. Stick with me, and I'll tell you why this little penny could be your ticket to a few extra bucks. Alright, let's break this down. Most of the pennies you find floating around, especially those from the 1980s, are worth, well, a penny. Maybe even less, depending on how much lint they've collected over the years. But there's one that's a bit of an exception. Drum roll please. The 1987 Lincoln penny. It's got a little something extra going for it, and it's not just because of the whole Abraham Lincoln vibe, though, let's face it, Lincoln was one cool guy with that top hat. Seriously though, this penny's got a few secrets up its sleeve. So, here's the deal. The D in 1987 D stands for the Denver Mint, which means this penny was made in Denver. But here's where things get interesting. The 1987 D penny, while it might look like any other penny you've seen a million times, actually has some slightly rarer versions floating around, some with errors. These errors can include things like double strikes, die cracks, and even off-center impressions. And that's where the magic happens. Those errors can push its value from 1 cent to $1.30, or even higher if you're lucky. Why am I not quitting my day job to become a full-time coin collector? And you're right. It's not a huge jackpot, but hey, it's a nice little surprise. Plus, this isn't the only scenario where your coin could be worth more. Some of these bad boys have been auctioned off for a pretty penny, pun intended. And we're talking about coins that were only slightly different, but those small errors can seriously change things. Now, I'll be honest. I didn't find my 1987 D penny in a massive treasure chest or anything. No, it was lying right on the sidewalk. I was walking, minding my business, when I spotted it. I picked it up, and at first, I was like, just another penny. But then, I had a flash of genius. Okay, maybe it wasn't that genius, but it sounded smart at the time. I thought, wait a minute, this could be my golden ticket, or, my $1.30 ticket. So I googled around and found out that some 1987 D pennies are listed for higher prices because of those cool errors. And here's the kicker, while $1.30 isn't life-changing money, it's still more than what you'd get from your regular old penny jar. And let's be real, finding an error on a penny is kind of like finding a unicorn that's also wearing a cool pair of sunglasses. It's rare, but it happens. Here's the fun part, it's easy to check if your 1987 D Lincoln penny could be worth more. What you need to look for is any type of misprinting, like a double strike, where the design gets stamped more than once. Look for anything that seems a little off. An off-center strike can make the penny's value jump because the minting process is so precise that even small mistakes are noticed by collectors. And just to be clear, I'm not saying every 1987 D penny will be worth a fortune. Most of them will just hang around in your pocket change, doing their thing. But hey, if you do find one that's slightly off, you might just have yourself a little treasure. So, to wrap it up, what's the takeaway here? A 1987 D Lincoln penny might just be worth more than you think. It's a small coin, but if it's got an error or some oddity, it could bring in more than just your usual penny finding luck. And honestly, with the way things are going, finding a penny worth $1.30 feels like hitting the jackpot, right? But let me tell you, this is just one example. There's a whole world of coins out there that could be worth a lot more than face value. And if you want more tips, tricks, and coin collecting strategies, hit that subscribe button below. I've got tons of info to share, and hey, who doesn't love a little extra pocket change? Alright, coin hunters, stay curious, check your change, and who knows, maybe you'll find a hidden gem just like I did. Catch you in the next one, and remember, keep your eyes open for pennies, because you never know when one might be a little richer than you thought. Hey, what's up, fellow coin lovers? So, you've got a bunch of pennies lying around, right? Maybe you've even tossed some in a jar somewhere, thinking, they're just pennies. They're worth, well, a penny. But, before you drop them back in the math pile, pause, stop right there. If you've got a 1994 penny with a mint mark, you could be holding on to some serious value. Seriously, like enough to make you say, wait, what? So, buckle up, because we're diving into the world of the 1994 Lincoln penny, and trust me, you'll want to know this. Some of you may be thinking, it's just a penny. How much could it be worth? Oh, my friend, you're in for a surprise. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be looking at your pennies like a treasure hunter looking at gold. Okay, let's start with the basics. First off, the 1994 Abraham Lincoln penny. It's been around since, well, 1994. I know, not exactly the ancient relic of coins, but still, it's a little piece of history. But wait, there's more. We're talking about a mint mark here. And that little mark, oh, it's a game changer. This little guy, the mint mark on your penny, is what makes all the difference in determining its value. So, you might have one of these with a mint mark from Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, or the ever so rare S for San Francisco. But here's the kicker. While the 1994 penny isn't usually rare, depending on the mint mark, it could have a market value way higher than you'd expect. Let's break it down. A regular 1994 penny in decent condition, whether it has a P, D, or S mint mark, is worth about, well, 1 penny. Yeah, I know. Shocking, right? But there's a twist. Keep an eye out for pennies that are in mint condition. You know, those pennies that look like they've been pulled out of a time machine, shiny and practically untouched. If your 1994 penny is looking, well, like this, it's not going to bring in the big bucks. But if it looks like it just came off the assembly line, now we're talking. Especially if it's the S mint mark. That little guy has a higher probability of being worth more, sometimes upwards of $1.40 or more, depending on its condition and market demand. You might be wondering, how do I even know if my penny is in good enough condition to be worth anything? Should I be inspecting them under a microscope or hiring a professional? No, no, no. You don't need to break out the magnifying glass just yet, just a little patience and some careful observation will do. Okay, so maybe a magnifying glass wouldn't hurt, but let's be real here. If your penny has no visible damage, good color, and a sharp design, chances are it's worth a little extra cash. Host, but let me tell you, I know exactly what it feels like to find a penny that could be worth something. I'll tell you a quick story. So, I was digging through a box of coins I had inherited from my grandpa. There were a bunch of dusty pennies, and honestly, I didn't even think twice about them. But then, ding ding ding, I found this shiny, perfect 1994 penny. I looked at it, and I was like, could this be it? I ran to my phone, Googled 1994 Lincoln penny value, and it was like hitting the jackpot. The thing was worth around $1.40, and I was freaking out like I had found buried treasure. Not bad for a penny, right? Honestly, I had no idea the value of a penny could go that high, but hey, that's what I love about this hobby, it's full of surprises. You never know what you might find hidden in your change, or in your old coin jars. So, if you're still sitting there thinking, it's just a penny, what's the big deal? I get it. But that's the whole point. You're not just looking at old coins, you're looking at potential hidden gems, just waiting to be discovered. And hey, every penny counts. Now, if you've got a 1994 penny in your collection, take a second to inspect it. Look for that mint mark, and if it's in good shape, you might just have a tiny treasure on your hands. So, what's the takeaway here? Inspect your pennies. Don't let them just sit there in a dusty jar, because some of them could actually be worth more than $1. Or who knows? Maybe you'll even find a coin worth way more than you ever imagined. And if you want to know more about coins, how to spot those hidden gems, and strategies for collecting valuable coins, you know what to do, right? Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on those notifications, because trust me, you won't want to miss out on all the cool tips I've got lined up. You never know when your next coin could be worth a lot more than a penny. Catch you in the next video, and keep hunting those treasures. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the most exciting, the most underrated, the most scandalous piece of copper you've probably got lying around in your couch cushions right now. The 2009 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. But what if I told you this little bad boy is actually worth more than just 1 cent? That's right. You could be holding onto a coin that's selling for, drumroll, please, a whopping $1.70. Okay, I know what you're thinking. $1.70. That's not exactly Lamborghini money. But hey, it's better than 1 cent. And if you've got a whole roll of these lying around, you just might be sitting on a tiny copper fortune. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into what makes this penny special, why collectors love it, and how you can cash in. Alright, history buffs, here's the deal. In 2009, to celebrate the 200th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the U.S. Mint released a series of pennies featuring different stages of Lincoln's life. We got 4 designs: his humble log cabin beginnings, his hardworking teenage years, his career as a young lawyer, and finally, his presidency. But today, we're focusing on the no mint mark version, which was minted in Philadelphia. Now, why is this little copper dude worth more than face value? Well, for one, these pennies were made in limited quantities compared to regular pennies, and collectors absolutely love anything that screams limited edition. It's like getting a rare Pokemon card, but instead of Pikachu, you get a bearded guy who freed the slaves. Now, here's where things get spicy. Not all 2009 Lincoln pennies are created equal. Some of these coins, especially if they're in top condition, meaning no scratches, dents, or mysterious sticky substances from being in a kid's piggy bank, can sell for much more than $1.70. I'm talking upwards of $50 to even $100 for pristine, high-graded versions. How do you know if you've got a valuable one? Check for these things: no mint mark. If your penny has no letter under the date, congrats. You've got the Philly-made version, high grade, the shinier and less damaged, the better. Collectors love mint state coins, meaning they look brand new. Errors: if your penny has a double design, extra markings, or looks like it was stamped by a sleepy mint worker, it could be worth a lot more. Quick tip: if you're not sure what condition your coin is in, try looking at it under good lighting. If it shines brighter than your future, you're on the right track. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I was going through my old coin jar, you know, the one you just throw change into and forget about for 5 years. Yeah, that one. I was this close to cashing it in at the grocery store when I noticed something weird about one of my pennies. It was a 2009 Lincoln penny, and it looked fancy. I did a quick Google search and boom, I realized I was holding a penny worth almost $10. That's like 10 whole dollars I almost gave to the Coinstar machine for free. Moral of the story? Always check your change, because you never know when you're about to find a tiny treasure. Okay, so let's say you found a good one. What do you do next? You've got options: eBay and online marketplaces. List your coin and let collectors bid for it. Just make sure you take clear photos. Nobody wants to buy a blurry, suspicious-looking penny. Local coin shops. If you want a quick sale, head to a coin shop. But be ready to negotiate. These guys know their stuff. Coin shows and collector groups, a great place to meet enthusiasts who might pay top dollar for your special penny. And hey, if you don't feel like selling, you can always hold on to it. Who knows? In a few decades, this penny might be worth way more. Imagine your grandkids finding it and realizing it's their college tuition money. Now that's a legacy. First, never underestimate a penny. It might just be worth more than you think. Second, always check your change, because there could be treasure hiding in plain sight. And third, if you've got a 2009 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, congratulations. You're officially a coin collector, even if you didn't plan on it. If you found this video helpful, funny, or even just slightly entertaining, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss another video about coins worth money. We've got plenty more tips, tricks, and treasure hunts coming your way. Now, go check your pockets, your couch cushions, and that weird junk drawer in your kitchen. You just might find a hidden fortune. Thanks for watching. Alright, picture this: you're digging through your couch cushions, looking for enough change to justify that extra large fries, and boom. You find a crusty, little OL penny that it's a 1971 D Lincoln penny. You think, it's just a penny, right? Wrong. My friend, that tiny copper coin could be worth a whole, wait for it, $1.10 in today's market. Yep. You heard me. A whole $1.10. That's a 100x return on investment. If your investment was literally 1 cent now, you might be thinking, why should I care about a penny that's only worth $1? Well, stick with me, because there's way more to this story than just pocket change. We're gonna talk about why this coin has value, what makes it special, and how you can turn everyday pocket change into a serious collecting strategy. And if you're new here, hey, welcome. If you love making money from unexpected places, hit that subscribe button because I've got tons of tips on coins worth money. So, first things first, why is this little guy worth more than 1 cent? It's not like it's some ultra-rare gold coin dug up from a pirate ship. Nope, it's just your standard copper Lincoln penny minted in Denver in 1971. Here's the deal: condition is everything. If your 1971 D penny is all scratched up, corroded, or looking like it survived a garbage disposal accident, it's still just a penny. But if you happen to find one in mint condition, preferably graded MS 65 or higher, then we're talking about real collector value. And before you say, okay, but where do I find one in mint condition? Don't worry, I got you covered. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but where do I actually find one of these pennies? The answer: everywhere. Check your change. Yes, the same pocket lint-infested pile of coins in your car's cup holder could be hiding treasure. Coin rolls from banks. Coin roll hunting is like scratching a lottery ticket, but with fewer regrets. Garage sales and flea markets. You'd be shocked how many people sell old jars of coins without realizing their value. Grandma's coin jar. Look, if grandma lets you raid her coin collection, you better share the profits. Alright, real talk, let me tell you about the time I found a high-grade 1971 D penny in the most ridiculous way. That I was at a laundromat, waiting for my clothes to dry, when I spotted a penny on the floor. Now, normally, I wouldn't pick up a random floor penny, because, well, germs. But something about this one sparkled under the fluorescent lights like it was calling to me. So, I picked it up, gave it a quick shirt wipe, and guess what? It was a sharp, uncirculated 1971 D penny. I took it home, checked it under a magnifier, and boom, turns out it was an MS-66. Sold it later $4.47. Moral of the story: never ignore floor pennies. 1971 D Lincoln pennies aren't just worthless pocket change, they can be worth way more if they're in top condition. Finding them is easier than you think. Banks, your change, flea markets, and yes, even sketchy laundromat floors. Small coins can lead to big money, so always check your change. Now, if you found this video helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because I've got more coin tips, collecting hacks, and money-making strategies coming your way. And if you've ever found a rare or valuable coin in your pocket change, drop a comment below. I want to hear your stories. Alright, folks, let me ask you a question. Have you ever checked your spare change and thought, what if I'm sitting on a goldmine and don't even know it? I mean, imagine buying a soda with a penny that could actually be worth more than a whole bottle of Coke. Wild, right? Today, we're diving into a sneaky little treasure hiding in plain sight, the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Is it worth thousands? Nah. But is it worth more than a penny? Absolutely. So, grab your pocket change, a comfy seat, and let's get into it. Alright, first things first, what's so special about the 1978 penny? If you flip it over and check for a mint mark, you won't find one. No D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, just Lincoln chilling there like, yeah, I don't need a mint mark, I'm already iconic. But here's the thing, that's not a mistake. All 1978 pennies made in Philadelphia had no mint mark. It was just how they rolled back then. But before you chuck it back into your coin jar thinking it's worthless, hold up. Because even a humble penny can be worth more than you think. Now, let's talk numbers. If you find a regular, well-circulated 1978 penny, it's worth, well, about a cent. No surprise there. But if you've got one in pristine, shiny, fresh off the mint condition, that baby can go for up to $1.20. And I know what you're thinking, $1.20. That's not exactly retirement money. True, but think about it, what other investment lets you turn 1 cent into 120 times its value instantly? That's like if your coffee budget magically stretched to cover a month's supply. You know, I actually have a funny story about coin collecting. When I was a kid, my grandpa had this big old jar of pennies. And one day, he told me, every penny has a story, you just gotta find the right one. So, naturally, little me sat on the floor and checked every single penny. Hours later, all I had was a sore back and about 500 plain old pennies. No hidden fortune, just a history lesson. But hey, that's how I caught the coin collecting bug. And now, here I am, telling you to check your pennies because sometimes, just sometimes, you actually find a little gem. So, how do you know if you have a 1978 penny worth more than its face value? Here are 3 things to check. Condition is king. If your penny looks like it's been through 40 years of pocket lint and washing machines, it's probably just pocket change. But if it's shiny and free of scratches? Now we're talking. Errors equals extra value. Some 1978 pennies have misprints, like off-center strikes or doubled letters. These errors can make them worth way more, so grab a magnifying glass and start investigating. A professional coin grading service can tell you exactly how much your penny is worth. The higher the grade, the higher the price. So, is the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny the next Bitcoin? Probably not. But is it worth checking your loose change for? Absolutely. Because hey, who doesn't love turning spare pennies into actual dollars? And even if you don't find a jackpot coin, at least you've got a cool story to tell. Alright, my fellow treasure hunters, that's it for today's deep dive into pocket change profits. Now it's your turn, go check your coins and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare penny. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I've got more money-making coin tips coming your way. Who knows? Your next coin find might just fund your next vacation. See you in the next one. Alright, my fellow treasure hunters, buckle up. Have you ever found an old penny and thought, it's just a cent? Not even worth bending over to pick up. Well, hold on, because today we're talking about a coin that's technically worth $1.30, which, okay, might not make you rich, but hey, that's a 130% return on investment. Try getting that in the stock market. We're diving into the 1980 Lincoln penny today, breaking down what makes it worth slightly more than face value, how you can identify the good ones, and why some collectors still love this tiny copper wonder. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you just might be raiding your couch cushions for lost change. First, let's talk about where this coin came from. The 1980 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, hence the D mint mark under the date. It was produced in massive quantities. We're talking over 5 billion pennies. That's more pennies than there are awkward family Thanksgiving conversations. At the time, these pennies were made mostly of 95% copper, with a little zinc thrown in, because hey, even coins need variety. This means that unlike today's pennies, which are mostly zinc with a whisper of copper coating, these older ones actually have some real metal value. Alright, let's talk numbers. If you walk into a store with a 1980 penny, guess what? It's still a penny. The cashier is not gonna look at you and go, "Ah yes, a fine vintage, let me give you $1 for it." But in the collector's world, it's worth about $1.30 in mint condition, not life-changing, but hey, that's like an extra candy bar at checkout. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If your penny is shiny, uncirculated, and has sharp details, collectors might pay a little extra for it. A graded MS-67 penny? That could fetch upwards of $50. And if you find one in perfect mint state, you might even see it go for hundreds at auction. Not bad for something people ignore on the sidewalk. So, let's say you want to check your change jar. Here's what you should keep an eye out for: the D mint mark, gotta have that Denver D below the date, or else you're just looking at a regular 1980 penny. Condition is everything. If it looks like it's been chewed on by history, it's probably worth 1 cent errors. This is where things get juicy. Some 1980 pennies have doubling errors on the lettering or Lincoln's profile. If you find a double die penny, you could be looking at serious collector money, and hey, if you need a magnifying glass to check, welcome to the club. I used to laugh at people who did this, until I found a double die penny worth $50. Who's laughing now? Speaking of checking pennies, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was going through some old change from my grandma's house. She had this giant jar of pennies. Seriously, I think it was older than me. So, I'm digging through, half asleep, when I spot this super shiny 1980 penny. My heart starts racing, my inner treasure hunter wakes up. I check it under my light, and bam, turns out, it was just really clean. Not rare, not worth much, just suspiciously shiny. Moral of the story? Not every old penny is a jackpot, but you never know unless you check. So, what did we learn today? The 1980 Lincoln penny isn't exactly gonna pay off your mortgage, but it's still a cool coin with some collector value. If you find one in mint condition, hold on to it. And if you spot one with an error, get it checked. You might be holding on to a hidden gem. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a valuable penny in your pocket change? Drop a comment below and tell me your best coin find. And if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that are secretly worth money, smash that like button and subscribe for more treasure hunting tips. Until next time, keep checking your change. Alright, Let's talk about that shiny penny you just found at the bottom of your pocket or in that old coin jar your grandmother gave you. No, I'm not talking about some random pocket change you can barely spend these days. I'm talking about the 1981 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And no, this isn't just another penny, this little guy could be hiding some serious cash. You might even have a treasure worth more than your lunch money right now. And I know, who cares about a penny? But let me tell you, this penny could be worth a lot more than what you think. Stick around to the end, because by the time we're done, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. But hey, let's start with a little history lesson. Don't worry, I'll keep it fun. Let's dive in. Alright, so let's get the basics out of the way. The 1981 penny. Classic, right? It's that year when you probably were rocking some sweet 80s fashion, neon colors were definitely a thing, and E.T. was making us all cry at the movies. But this penny? It was minted with a D mark, which means it came out of the Denver Mint. Cool, right? Well, here's the kicker. It wasn't just any run-of-the-mill penny. Nope. In 1981, the Mint produced over 6 billion pennies, so you wouldn't think there'd be anything special about it. But wait, it gets better. Some of these pennies, like the one you've probably got lying around somewhere, are worth up to $1.40. Now, I know what you're thinking, how could a penny be worth that much? It's just a penny. I get it, I do. But hear me out. With certain pennies, the condition matters. You see, some of these 1981 pennies were either struck slightly off-center, with double die errors, or just came out looking super clean. These little defects or pristine conditions are what make a coin worth more than a mere 1-cent price tag. And if you're wondering, okay, but how do I tell if mine's special? That's where the detective work comes in. Grab yourself a magnifying glass, no, not one of those fancy ones that come with a treasure chest set, just a regular one, and start inspecting your penny. Look for things like doubling in the lettering or any off-center printing. Trust me, it's a fun little scavenger hunt. Okay, so if you find a cool error, congrats. Your penny might be worth more than a bag of chips and a soda at the corner store. In fact, in perfect condition, an uncirculated 1981 D Lincoln penny could fetch you $1.40. Yep, a whole $1.40. I'm sure there are some of you out there like, but $1.40, really? And look, I get it. That's not gonna retire you or buy you a new car, but for a penny that you probably found in the change jar or got from your morning coffee run, that's a pretty solid return. I mean, come on, think about it. If you had 100 of these, that's $140. That's some serious change. And who knows? Maybe you'll even stumble across one that's worth more. Some of these rare 1981 D pennies have been known to sell for even more, depending on their rarity and condition. Let me tell you, I once stumbled upon a coin from the 1800s. It was just hanging out, chilling in a box I had from an old yard sale. Now, I'm no expert, but when I saw the date, my heart stopped. I thought I was about to pay off my student loans with one coin. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth as much as I hoped, but that little spark of excitement was priceless. So, don't throw away your pennies just yet. Okay, back to the 1981 penny. Here's the important part, these rare coins aren't just about the money, they're about the hunt, the thrill of finding something special where you least expect it. I mean, think about it. This little coin has been in circulation for over 4 decades. And now, it's sitting in your hand, with the potential to be worth more than you imagined. So why not take a closer look before you toss it back into the change jar? You never know what you might find. Scene, you're holding the penny up to the light, inspecting it with a smile. So, to wrap things up, those 1981 D Lincoln pennies? Definitely worth taking a second look at. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who likes to check out weird little facts, this penny could be your gateway to discovering more hidden treasures in your pocket change. If you want more tips on what coins are worth money, how to spot valuable ones, or just some fun, nerdy facts about coins that'll impress your friends, or confuse your dog, hit that subscribe button. I've got more stories, strategies, and a whole lot of cool info coming your way. You point at the subscribe button on screen. And hey, if you find a penny and it turns out to be worth $1.40, you owe me a virtual high five. Deal? Thanks for hanging out with me today. See you next time, coin collectors. Wave goodbye as the screen fades to your channel logo. Alright, listen up, coin lovers. Have you ever had one of those moments where you're flipping through your loose change and then boom, you see something that makes you stop in your tracks? Like, maybe that old penny that's just been chilling in your wallet for years, totally looking like a regular, boring penny. You know, the kind you're not even sure what to do with. Well, what if I told you that this very ordinary looking penny could be worth a lot more than you think? In fact, today we're talking about the 1982 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, it's worth more than just 1 cent. How much more? Keep watching to find out. Okay, let's start with the basics. You might be thinking, 1982. That's so long ago. I wasn't even born then. Heck, my parents might not even have been born. But hang tight, this is gonna be fun. In 1982, the US Mint switched up the way they were making pennies. They went from 95% copper to mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. But here's the thing, not all pennies were minted the same way that year. Some of them, didn't have a mint mark at all. Now, I know what you're thinking. Who cares if there's no mint mark? But that missing mint mark is the kicker here. Normally, you'd see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But in 1982, a small batch of pennies was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and they didn't put a mint mark on those bad boys. This tiny little oversight means they're rare, like, really rare in coin terms. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, except the needle has serious value. Visual, zoom in to show close-up of penny with missing mint mark. Imagine you're at a party, and you see someone wearing the same shirt as you, awkward. Now imagine that everyone else is wearing something totally different, and you're like, well, this is clearly a special shirt. That's basically what these no mint mark pennies are like. They're the fashionistas of the penny world. And trust me, people are willing to pay for that unique style. So, how much are we talking here? A regular 1982 penny with a mint mark? Meh, it's worth a cent. But the 1982 no mint mark penny? Well, that can fetch you around a solid $1.50 on average. Not bad, right? You can buy, like, 1.5 fancy coffees with that, or, if you're feeling a little adventurous, maybe a really overpriced avocado toast. Either way, that's 1 penny that could help you out. But wait, there's more. The value of this little penny can go up even more if it's in great condition. We're talking uncirculated grades here, like, mint condition. If you've got one of these guys in perfect shape, you could be looking at $2 to $5. Maybe even more if you find the right buyer. I mean, $5 for a penny is like finding a $20 bill in your laundry. That's an extra Taco Tuesday. Here's a funny story. A few years ago, I was rummaging through a jar of coins I had sitting around. You know, the one that's basically just a catch-all for every penny, nickel, and dime you get as change. Anyway, I picked up a penny, and it was one of these 1982 no mint marks. At first, I thought, this thing is probably worth, like, what? 1 cent. But then I did a quick search online. Turns out it was worth a couple of bucks. I was like, what? This is the good stuff. I literally couldn't believe it. So, moral of the story, always check your change, folks. You never know what you've got lying around. So, before you toss that penny into your next jar, remember, there might be gold, or at least a couple of bucks, hidden in those coppery depths. The 1982 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a pretty sweet find, and while it's not going to make you rich, it's definitely worth keeping an eye out for. If you've learned something new today, or if you're just excited to dig through your change jar now, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips on coins that are worth more than you think, trust me, you won't want to miss it. And hey, share this with a friend, so you can both start your own little penny treasure hunts. Who knows, maybe you'll both become coin experts. Or just $1.50 richer. Hey, what's up, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and everyone who accidentally found this video while trying to look up something completely unrelated. Welcome back to the channel where we turn spare change into serious cash. Today, we're talking about a penny that might just be hiding in your couch cushions, the 1983 Lincoln penny with a current market value of about $1.60. Now, I know what you're thinking, $1.60. That's not exactly a retirement plan. But hang tight, because there's way more to this humble little cent than meets the eye. We're diving deep, we're getting nerdy, and we're having some laughs along the way, so stick around. So, why is a coin that says 1 cent actually worth more than that? Well, my friends, it's all about rarity, errors, and demand. The 1983 Lincoln penny isn't rare in itself, I mean, over 6.4 billion of these bad boys were minted in Denver alone. But what makes certain ones more valuable is their condition, special errors, and collector demand. 1983 was a big transition year for pennies. Just 1 year prior, in 1982, the US Mint made a major switch. They stopped making solid copper pennies and switched to a zinc core with a copper coating to save money. Inflation, my friends, it affects everything, even tiny little coins. So, by 1983, every penny coming out of the mint was mostly zinc, but guess what? Some things went weird. If you've got a 1983 penny with some strange doubling on Liberty, the date, or even Lincoln's bust, congrats. You might be looking at a double die error, one of the holy grails of penny collecting. These errors happen when the die that strikes the coin gets misaligned, creating a doubling effect. A regular 1983 penny, $1.60 in great condition. A 1983 double die penny? Up to $15,000. Yeah, you heard me right. That's enough to buy, like, 1,000 burritos. So how do you know if you've got a winner? Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, no, not the one you got from your kid's science kit, an actual decent one. Hold it up to Liberty, the date, and Lincoln's face. If you see clear doubling, congratulations, my friend, you just hit the penny jackpot. Condition matters, don't go spending it just yet. Even if your penny doesn't have an error, its value depends a lot on its condition. Coin collectors love their pennies to be as flawless as possible, no scratches, no wear, no evidence that it lived under your car seat for a decade. A mint state, MS-65, graded 1983 penny can fetch $5 to $10, and if it's an MS-67 or higher, we're talking hundreds of dollars. Let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I was going through some old rolls of pennies from a garage sale, you know, one of those places where you expect to find old coffee mugs and VHS tapes. I wasn't expecting much, but boom, a 1983 with a slight doubling. It wasn't a perfect mint state coin, but it still sold for $85. Not bad for a penny, right? Moral of the story, check your change. You never know what treasures you'll find. Alright, so now you know, that little 1983 Lincoln penny in your pocket. It might be worth way more than a cent. Whether it's a standard high-grade penny, a rare double die error, or just a cool piece of history, these coins are definitely worth looking out for. So here's what I need you to do next, check your pennies. And while you're at it, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more tips for finding coins worth money. Trust me, you'll want to be here when we cover more hidden treasures you might be spending by accident. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into treasure. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever found a penny in your car cup holder, under your couch, or maybe even in your washing machine and thought, meh, just another penny? Well, hold on to your seats because today we're talking about one of those everyday coins that might be worth a little more than you think, the 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, before you go dumping out your piggy bank like a madman, let's break this one down. Is this penny rare? Not really. Is it worth millions? Absolutely not. But is it fun to learn about and could it make you a little extra cash? Oh yeah. So, let's dive into this tiny copper beauty and see what makes it special. Alright, first off, if you're staring at a 1985 penny in your hand, you might be wondering what exactly no mint mark even means. Well, it's simple. The US Mint produces coins at different locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of the time, coins minted in Denver and San Francisco have a little D or S on them. But Philadelphia? They were too cool for that in 1985. So, the majority of Philly minted pennies that year came out with no mint mark at all. Now, here's the deal, because this was intentional and not an error, these pennies aren't rare. But, collectors still love them, especially in pristine condition. A circulated 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny? That's pretty much worth a penny. Maybe two if you're lucky. But here's where things get interesting. If you find one in great shape, also known as mint state condition, the value starts climbing. Let's talk numbers. If you've got a 1985 no mint mark penny in typical, well-loved, pocket-worn condition, congrats, it's worth exactly 1 cent. But if you've got a clean, shiny, nearly flawless one, we're talking anywhere from 50 cents to a few bucks. And if you hit the jackpot and find one graded MS 67 or higher, you might be looking at $30 or more. Not exactly retirement money, but hey, it's a great excuse to dig through that loose change jar. Now, fun fact, there was a time when I thought I had struck it rich. I found a 1985 penny in my old jeans, and for some reason, it looked shinier than the others. I was already dreaming of an early retirement, maybe a yacht, maybe a private island. Turns out, it was just a really clean penny. The moral of the story? Check your coins, but don't quit your day job just yet. The 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't a jackpot coin, but it's still worth keeping an eye out for. If you find one in pristine condition, you might get a little extra cash out of it. And if nothing else, it's a fun reminder that even the smallest, most ordinary things can have a little hidden value. Now, before you go running to check your couch cushions, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got plenty more videos coming your way about rare coins, valuable bills, and strategies to make money from your pocket change. And hey, if you've ever found a cool or valuable coin, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Hey there, coin lovers. Imagine this, you're flipping through a box of loose change, looking for a snack while watching your favorite show, when suddenly, you spot it. A coin that doesn't seem to fit with the rest. It's not your regular Lincoln penny, and it has no mint mark. A little confused, you think, is this a mistake? Should I keep it? Well, good news, you've just stumbled upon one of the most interesting coins to have in your collection today. The 2009 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And no, it's not some rare, secret treasure map. But it's still a pretty cool coin that could be worth more than you think. Let's talk about the value of that 2009 penny and why it might just be hiding a bigger story than you realize. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be keeping an eye out for this elusive little guy and know exactly how much it could be worth. Okay, let's break this down. We all know Abraham Lincoln's face on the penny, right? But what makes this 2009 penny unique? First off, it's from the year when the US Mint decided to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth by releasing 4 different designs. It was like a little party for Honest Abe on his birthday, but here's the kicker, you'll notice a subtle, but important detail, there's no mint mark. Now, you might be wondering, wait, does that mean it's some kind of weird mistake? Not quite. It's actually an intentional thing. The US Mint decided to drop mint marks from pennies made in 2009, and as a result, they were only made in the Philadelphia Mint, which, well, also didn't use mint marks on pennies that year. But here's the thing, while you might think it's just another penny, it's actually something that collectors are hunting for. These little Lincolns without a mint mark are rarer than you might think, especially because some years later, they brought the mint mark back. So, a 2009 Lincoln penny with no mint mark stands out. Now let's talk value, because that's the part everyone wants to know about. As of today, the current market value of a 2009 no mint mark penny can range from about 1.8 cents to maybe a few bucks depending on its condition. But, here's where it gets fun, condition really matters in the coin world. If you have one that's in excellent condition, say, a coin that looks nearly brand new, it could be worth a lot more than your everyday penny. Trust me, it's like finding a gold nugget in a sea of gravel, and who doesn't love a good treasure hunt? But let's be real, if you're pulling a 2009 penny out of your change jar right now, you might want to give it a quick inspection. If it's scratched up or dirty, your coin isn't going to be worth much. But if you're lucky enough to stumble across one that looks practically brand new, you've got yourself a winner. But don't go running off to sell it just yet, let's talk about how to actually sell it. Side note, this whole no mint mark situation got me thinking back to my own personal experience with a penny I found a few years ago. I remember sitting at my kitchen table, sorting through a random pile of change. When I pulled out a penny, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was an older, shiny penny that didn't look like it belonged in my usual pile of worn-out coins. My first thought was, is this the one? The one that's gonna make me rich? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Turns out it was a nice, shiny 1998 penny, but no mint mark and worth just a little bit more than its face value. But that didn't stop me from giving it a place of honor in my collection. And that's the cool thing about coin collecting, it's not always about making big bucks, it's about finding those unique pieces and building something awesome. But hey, if you do happen to find that rare gem, then more power to you. So, what's the bottom line here? A 2009 no mint mark penny isn't just any old coin. It's a reminder that sometimes, the things that seem ordinary are actually a bit more special than we realize. And while they may not be turning into gold overnight, they could still be worth more than a couple of cents if you've got one in good shape. If you found one of these pennies in your pocket change, take a minute to give it a good look. And if you're just starting to dip your toes into the world of coin collecting, I gotta say, keep your eyes peeled. There's a lot more out there than meets the eye, and who knows, you could find the next coin that makes your collection truly shine. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and strategies on how to make your coin collection work for you. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, I'm here to help you uncover those hidden treasures, because, let's face it, it's always nice to be a little bit richer, in coins, of course, and drop a comment below if you found a 2009 penny with no mint mark, or any other cool coins you've come across. I'd love to hear about your finds and maybe even share some stories in a future video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time with more coin collecting fun. Hey, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden gems in your pocket change. Today, we're talking about the 2016 Abraham Lincoln penny. And no, I'm not pulling your leg here, this penny could be worth $1.80 right now. Cue dramatic music. Sounds crazy, right? I know, but stick with me because I'm going to walk you through why this seemingly ordinary penny could actually be worth a lot more than the 1 cent you think it's worth, and if you've ever flipped a penny and thought, well, that's just 1 cent. What can I really do with that? Stick around, because today you might just change your mind. Now, before we dive into the nitty-gritty of this 2016 penny, let me tell you a quick story that will give you some perspective. Alright, so picture this, I'm digging around in my couch cushions, you know, like we all do when we're looking for that last loose dollar for coffee or a snack. I'm shoving aside old receipts, crumbs, and the occasional forgotten rubber band, when suddenly I feel something shiny. Aha! I pull out a coin, and it's a penny. Typical. But wait. I flip it over and see that it's a 2016 Abraham Lincoln penny, and something about it looks different. It's clean, it's shiny, like it's never even been in circulation. Hold up. That's when I start thinking, what if this penny's worth more than 1 cent? That's the moment I realized, oh man, I might have just hit the jackpot. But here's the thing, just because a penny's shiny and nice doesn't mean it's suddenly worth a ton of money. And that's what I want to break down for you today, so let's get into it. The 2016 Lincoln penny isn't like the vintage, rare coins you see auctioned off for millions. It's part of the regular run of pennies issued by the US Mint, which means it's not automatically worth a lot. But there's a twist. The 2016 penny has a few key features that could make it stand out, depending on condition and, you guessed it, rarity. First off, the 2016 penny celebrated the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln Memorial design, that iconic image of Lincoln sitting in the memorial. The penny's obverse side still shows that trusty old Lincoln portrait, and honestly, it's one of the longest-running designs for a coin in the history of US currency. But what you might not know is that the 2016 version of this coin had something kind of unique about it in the way it was minted, especially in the way it was distributed. Now, the $1.80 value we're talking about. That's for certain types of 2016 pennies in really good condition, you know, the kind that looks like it was just pulled out of the mint and handed to you by a shiny new machine. So if you've got one of these pennies with little wear and tear, and maybe it's got a bit of luster left, you could be looking at more than a face value of 1 cent. But here's the kicker, just because your penny looks new doesn't mean it's worth a ton. It has to have all the right features, and not all 2016 pennies are going to get you $1.80. The magic is in the details. For example, mint marks. There are a few mint marks to look out for. Some of the 2016 pennies have a special D or S mint mark, which refers to where the coin was made, Denver or San Francisco. Those can sometimes be worth more than regular pennies, especially if they're in good condition. Error coins. Error coins, these are like the unicorns of the coin world. A slight misprint or misstruck penny could make it worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The 2016 penny has been found with some notable errors, like a double die, when the die is mistakenly struck multiple times, and those can up the value to much more than $1.80. I'm talking about potentially way more than that. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, how do I find these rare pennies? Great question. Let me break it down for you. Inspect the condition, look for any signs of wear and tear. If your penny is almost as shiny as the day it was minted, it could be worth more. Check the mint mark. Does it have a D or S mint mark? Awesome. It could be worth more than the regular pennies. Search for errors. You might just have a penny with a printing error. Look closely for anything that looks off, maybe a weird shape, a double image, or misplaced letters. If you find one, get excited because you've got a rare find. So, there you have it, the 2016 Abraham Lincoln penny isn't just any regular penny. With the right conditions, mint marks, and even a lucky error, this penny can be worth a little, or a lot, more than you think. It might not make you rich, but hey, that $1.80 could be the start of your own coin collection, and if you're wondering how to take your coin collecting game to the next level, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. We're constantly dropping tips on which coins are worth money, how to spot valuable ones, and strategies for making your pocket change actually worth something. If you found this video helpful, or maybe even just a little entertaining, make sure to share it with your friends. Who knows? You might just have a fortune hiding in your pocket right now. Alright, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Happy hunting, folks. Winks, and remember, don't spend those rare pennies just yet. Smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future coin tips. Also, drop a comment below if you've ever found a penny, or other coin, that ended up being worth more than you thought. Let's hear your stories, and who knows? Let me ask you something. Maybe your coin was the last time you looked at a penny and thought, hey, this little guy could be worth more than my lunch. Laughs, We all know pennies get a bad rap. They're heavy, they're small, and let's face it, they're often just thrown in a jar and forgotten. But what if I told you that there's one little penny from 2006 that could actually be worth a lot more than its 1 cent value? Yes, I'm talking about the 2006 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Cue dramatic music, don't worry, it's not a joke, and I'm not pulling your leg here, so stick around because today, I'm going to break down why this penny could be sitting in your pocket right now, waiting to turn you into a coin collector, and possibly even make you some cash. And trust me, you're going to want to know this, now, before you start searching through all your change like a madman or madwoman. Let's dive into the details. So, what is this elusive 2006 no-mint mark penny all about? First things first, if you've ever looked at a penny, you probably noticed that it has a little mint mark on it, right? That little D or S is the mint's way of saying, hey, we made this. But here's where it gets interesting. In 2006, there were some pennies that didn't have a mint mark. You might think, well, so what? A penny's a penny, right? Sarcastically, oh, how wrong you are, my friend. You see, the no mint mark penny from 2006 is rare, because most pennies from that year were struck at either the Denver Mint, the D mark, or the San Francisco Mint, the S mark, but a small batch of them didn't get the mint mark at all. What's the deal with that, you ask? Well, it's a little mystery. Some people think it was a mistake, some think it was just a weird quirk of the minting process, and others believe it was a limited-run design. Whatever the reason, it means that this no mint mark penny is rarer than your average coin. Now, I know what you're thinking, okay, cool, but what's the value? Pauses, drumroll, please. The 2006 no mint mark penny can go for around $1.70 on the market, or even more if it's in really good condition. Yes, you heard that right, $1.70 for a penny. Now, I don't know about you, but I could buy a whole bag of chips with that kind of cash, and I'm not talking about the little snack-sized bags, I mean the big one. But seriously, if you find one of these bad boys, you might want to start thinking about keeping it safe. Don't just toss it into your change jar and forget about it. Looks at camera, mock serious. Trust me, you don't want to be the person who casually spends a coin that could be worth more than your car payment. Now, there's a catch. The 2006 no mint mark penny doesn't automatically make you a millionaire. I know, that's a little disappointing. But even at $1.70, that's still a pretty solid return on a coin that most people don't give a second thought to. And you could have several of them just lying around in your pocket change. But wait. I've got a funny story for you. So, a few months ago, I was sorting through some loose change I had lying around. You know, that jar of coins that's always just sitting there, collecting dust. As I went through it, I found this little 2006 penny with no mint mark. And at first, I just thought it was a regular penny, until I did a little research, and boom. Suddenly, I'm like, wait, is this for real? I almost had a mini panic attack, thinking I just spent 5 of them at the coffee shop earlier that morning. Laughs, but luckily, I found another one in my bag. I had to stop myself from immediately running to the bank to get it appraised. I mean, come on, $1.70, that's a decent lunch, right? Now, don't go thinking that every 2006 penny without a mint mark is automatically worth $1.70. You've got to check the condition. If it's all scratched up, worn out, or just looks like it's been through the laundry too many times, it's not going to get you much. A penny in mint condition is always worth more. So, if you find one, and it's in decent shape, hold on to it. Keep it in your coin collection, and maybe even try to get it graded. A professional coin grader could tell you just how valuable it is based on its quality. Scene changes back to the host, sitting at a table full of coins. So there you have it, folks, the 2006 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. It might be small, but it's certainly mighty when it comes to value. And let's be honest, finding money you didn't expect is always a win, right? Before you start digging through all your pennies, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on more cool coin tips and money-making strategies. You never know what hidden treasure might be sitting in your pocket right now. So, keep your eyes peeled, and keep searching, because there's always more to find in the world of coins. And hey, if you've already got a 2006 no mint mark penny, or any other cool finds, drop a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep it fun, keep it smart, and keep it casual. Catch you in the next one. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, I know you've probably heard this a million times, but I gotta ask, do you have a 1982 penny hanging around somewhere? Because if you do, congratulations, my friend, you might just be holding on to a little gold mine. Well, not gold, but close enough. If you've ever wondered about the value of that penny sitting in your drawer or collecting dust in your couch cushions, stick around, because today we're diving into the 1982 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and spoiler alert, it's worth a lot more than 1 cent, I'm not kidding, folks. That little copper coin you thought was just another boring penny could actually be worth up to $1.80. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about a penny, almost 100 times its face value. Who knew your change jar could be hiding such treasures? But before you go rifling through your coin collection, let me break down what makes the 1982 no mint mark penny special, why it's worth so much, and how you can make sure yours is worth top dollar. If you're ready, let's get started. Alright, so let's start by setting the stage here. The 1982 penny. It doesn't exactly scream rare coin when you look at it, right? It's just a regular penny, until you realize that a certain group of them, the ones from 1982 without a mint mark, are actually quite rare. And why? Well, it's all about the production quirks of that particular year. You see, 1982 was a year of transition for the US Mint. The mint was switching from copper to a copper-plated zinc composition for pennies. The copper version is heavier, and the zinc version is, well, lighter. And, get this, during that transition, some pennies were struck with no mint mark at all, which is odd because usually, each coin is stamped with a mint mark that shows where it was produced, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The result. A small group of 1982 pennies from the Philadelphia Mint ended up without the D mint mark, making them significantly rarer than their marked counterparts. These no mint mark coins are the ones that coin collectors are going absolutely crazy for. So now you're thinking, okay, cool, but how much is this worth? Good question. The value of the 1982 no mint mark penny can vary depending on its condition and whether it has any unique features, but generally, you're looking at a market value of around $1.80. Now, before you get too excited, let's clarify that this is for a penny in good or better condition. If your penny has seen better days, it might be worth less. Sorry, no windfall from a worn-out coin, but if your penny is in great shape, and you've got one of the rare unmarked ones, then you're definitely sitting on something that could be worth a little extra change. And remember, this value can fluctuate depending on demand and condition, so it's always a good idea to check the current market trends if you're looking to sell. Now, how do you actually tell if your 1982 penny is the one you're looking for? Well, here's the fun part, you don't need a magnifying glass or a treasure map to find it, but it might take a bit of attention to detail. First, check the date. Look for the 1982 clearly stamped on the coin. Then, flip it over and check for a mint mark. If there's no D or S under the date, congratulations. You found a 1982 penny without a mint mark, but here's the catch. Not all 1982 pennies are like this. Some of them are just your regular, garden variety coins. So, when you're inspecting your collection, it's important to be sure that the coin is actually from the Philadelphia Mint and is lacking the mint mark. The ones with mint marks are pretty common and won't fetch you any more than the face value. Let me tell you a little story from my personal life. I was cleaning out my old stuff the other day, getting rid of those, I'll keep this just in case, things, and I found a tin can that I had been using as my unofficial coin jar. I thought it was full of pennies, so I grabbed a handful and started checking for silver, because, who doesn't dream of finding a silver coin? As I started going through them, I found a 1982 penny and, well, I did what any rational person would do, I freaked out. I ran to my computer, Googled 1982 penny no mint mark value, and to my surprise, I found that I was holding onto a little gem. Sadly, mine was a little worn down, so it wasn't worth much, but still. The excitement is real, folks. So, keep your eyes peeled. Now, what if you find one of these rare 1982 no mint mark pennies? Should you sell it? Should you keep it for your future self to enjoy? Well, that really depends on your preferences. If you're into collecting and want to keep your coins as part of your collection, hold on to it. You might just be able to pass it down to someone else one day who'll appreciate it. On the other hand, if you're looking to make a quick buck and cash in on the coin's value, there's always the option of selling. You can sell it to coin collectors, on online auction sites, or even at local coin shops. But remember, if you're looking to sell it for the highest price, the condition of the penny is going to play a huge role. Clean it too much, and it might lose value, so resist the urge to polish it. Alright, friends, so there you have it. The 1982 no mint mark penny might just be a little surprise treasure hiding in your change jar, worth far more than the penny you thought it was. So before you toss that coin into your jar or leave it on the kitchen counter, take a closer look. This tiny piece of history could have a surprising value, and hey, while you're checking your pennies, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I've got more coin tips, money-making strategies, and fun facts coming your way every week. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Who knows? You might find something else worth more than you expected in your collection. So hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, happy coin hunting, and remember, check your change, it might just be worth more than you think. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Imagine you're going through a pile of pennies, probably the most ignored coins in the world, and suddenly you find a penny from 1980. But wait, no mint mark. You pause for a second, and your mind races. Is this little copper guy actually worth something? Well, spoiler alert, it might be. Stick around, and I'll explain why that little penny could be hiding a bigger treasure than you ever expected. Trust me, this isn't your average spare change story. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, 1980 penny. How special can it really be? Well, grab a snack and get comfy, because I'm about to dive into the minty details of why that 1980 no mint mark penny could be more than just a forgotten piece of your change jar. Okay, let's start with the basics. If you find a penny from 1980, it's probably not what you're thinking. Most pennies you come across are pretty common, and most don't have any rare value. But the 1980 no mint mark penny? That's a little different, my friend. Now, you're probably wondering, what's all this mint mark talk? Well, for years, US coins have featured mint marks, which are little letters that tell you where the coin was made. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. So when you spot a coin with no mint mark, it's actually a sign that it was made in Philadelphia. But why is that 1980 penny so special, though? I can hear you asking. Well, the 1980 no mint mark penny is part of an interesting period in US coin history. In the 1980s, there was a bit of a mix-up in coin production that resulted in some pennies being minted without the usual mark. This means that these 1980 pennies are a bit rarer than you might think. To make things even more exciting, these coins could be worth quite a bit more than you imagined. If you're lucky enough to have one in mint condition, meaning it's in pretty good shape without too many scratches or wear, it could fetch around $1.40, maybe even more. Yes, you heard that right, $1.40. You might be thinking, wait, hold up, I thought pennies were worth 1 cent. Well, they usually are, unless they're special. Now, if your penny is beat up, it's not going to land you a fortune, but don't despair. Even a well-worn 1980 no mint mark penny could still be worth more than you think, maybe 10 to 20 cents. Every little bit adds up, right? Quick sidebar, you know how we all have those change jars or those little drawers where we toss coins we don't use? I have one of those drawers, and it's basically a black hole where coins go to never be seen again. One time, I found a random 1980 penny in there. I honestly thought it was just a regular penny, until I started researching a bit more. Turns out, my find wasn't anything too rare, but the experience got me hooked on learning more about these tiny treasures hiding in plain sight. Here's the thing, most of us never even think about checking the pennies we come across. They're just pennies, right? I used to just toss them in the thmah pile. But after finding that 1980 penny, I realized, if you know what to look for, that seemingly insignificant coin might just be a little more significant than you think. So, what exactly makes the 1980 no mint mark penny stand out? Well, the rarity. The thing is, since the mint mark was often missing or just hard to see, it makes these 1980 pennies a little harder to find. And as coin collectors and numismatists know, the rarer, the better. Here's another fun tidbit: the 1980s were a time when coin collecting really took off. You had all these collectors snatching up the 1960s and 1970s coins, but they started noticing the 1980s pennies weren't as readily available, especially the ones from Philly without the mint mark. This is what creates that sweet spot for coin value, rarity plus demand. Well, if you find a 1980 no mint mark penny, check its condition carefully. If it's in mint condition, you can start thinking about selling it for $1.40 or more. It's not a goldmine, but hey, it's better than just having it sit in your drawer, right? I'd recommend checking some online auction sites, or, if you're feeling adventurous, taking it to a coin shop for an appraisal. You never know, you could have a hidden gem sitting around your house right now. Trust me, I've been there. So, here's the deal. Don't just toss that 1980 penny in the "just a penny" pile. Take a second to check for the absence of that mint mark. It might be worth more than you think, especially if it's in good shape. And if you're someone who's just starting to get into coin collecting, don't stop at 1980 pennies. There are so many coins out there waiting to be discovered, each with its own unique story and potential value. It's like a treasure hunt every time you open your change jar, and I promise you'll never look at pennies the same way again. But hey, don't take my word for it, go out and see for yourself. Keep your eyes peeled, and who knows, you might just stumble across a coin worth way more than you ever thought possible. If you enjoyed this little adventure into the world of rare pennies and want to learn more tips on how to spot coins worth money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got a ton of coin knowledge to share with you, and we're just getting started. So, grab your magnifying glass, subscribe, and let's hunt for those hidden treasures together. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever found a penny in the couch cushions or while walking down the street and thought, what if this little guy is worth a fortune? Well, today, I'm about to blow your mind. Imagine finding a 1981 penny with no mint mark, and discovering it's worth $1.3 million. Sounds like a lottery win, right? Well, stick with me because we're diving deep into this penny of a lifetime and whether it could really make you rich. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel where we talk about all things coin collecting and, of course, the occasional epic treasure hunt story. If you're new here, I'm your guide through the wild world of coins, and today, we're tackling a rare coin that might just be gathering dust in your pocket change right now, the 1981 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A lot of people have no idea this coin even exists, let alone that it could make you a fortune. But first, let me ask you, have you ever felt that moment of excitement when you find an old coin? It's like finding buried treasure, except you might not need a shovel. I'll tell you a little story. One day, I was sitting on my porch with my buddy Greg, just enjoying some sunshine and flipping through some old change I found in a jar. We were talking about what the heck we were going to do with all those pennies, and boom, I stumbled upon a 1981 penny. Now, I didn't think much of it at first. I was like, great, another one of those pennies that'll never be worth anything. But little did I know, that little copper guy could have made me a millionaire. So, let's break it down. Why on earth is a 1981 penny with no mint mark suddenly worth a whopping $1.3 million? The short answer. It's one of the rarest minting errors out there. Normally, every penny has a mint mark either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. The absence of that mint mark on a 1981 penny means it was likely struck in Philadelphia. The thing is, there's no official record of a 1981 penny being minted there without the P mint mark. What does that mean? Well, this coin was likely a mistake, and as we all know, mistakes can be worth a lot of money. This little error coin is what we call an unintentional rarity. Normally, coins with no mint marks don't stand out, but this one definitely did, and here's the kicker, only a small number of these no mint mark pennies made it into circulation, which makes them incredibly valuable. If you ever spot one, you'll want to get it professionally appraised, because it could be your ticket to the big leagues, like, possibly in the 7-figure league. Now, you're probably thinking, wait, but how do I even know if my penny is one of these elusive 1981 no mint mark treasures? Great question. The thing is, these rare coins are so unique because the mint mark was either accidentally left off or, more likely, just never added during the manufacturing process. This makes the coin stand out like a sore thumb, or should I say, like a shiny penny, but without a mint mark. So, to confirm, you've got to look at the coin closely. If it's in good shape and there's no mint mark, it could be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or even millions, depending on the condition and demand. But don't just take my word for it. Take a look at the recent auction results. We're talking about coins sold for millions of dollars because collectors are scrambling to get their hands on these rare finds. A 1981 no mint mark penny in near mint condition can fetch $1.3 million if you're lucky enough to find it. So yeah, your change jar might not be a bust after all. Alright, let's switch gears a little. Not everyone's going to find $1 million penny in their loose change. I'm not out here saying that every penny you find is going to make you rich. But hey, wouldn't it be nice if you could check your spare change and spot the next hidden gem? Imagine you're at a yard sale, grabbing some old coins for a couple bucks, and suddenly you hit the jackpot. That's the dream right there. I'm not saying it happens every day, but when it does, it's like the universe is giving you a high five. So, what's the takeaway here? If you're lucky enough to find a 1981 penny with no mint mark, you might want to consider yourself in a rare club. But even if you don't have this elusive error coin, keep looking. Coins are like little time capsules, they tell stories and sometimes even hold the keys to big rewards. And hey, I'm here for it. I'm always on the lookout for coins that might just be worth something, and you should be too. Now, before you go off and start scouring every penny you find, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I'm dropping tips like these all the time, from rare finds to tricks on how to identify coins that might be worth a lot more than you think. Don't miss out on future videos that'll help you turn your spare change into a potential goldmine. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin, tell me about it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories and maybe even feature them in a future video. Thanks for hanging out with me today, good luck out there, and may your pockets be full of rare treasures. Catch you in the next one. Hey there, coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, or just people who found a penny on the sidewalk and thought, hey, maybe this is worth something. Welcome back to the channel, where we talk all things coins, especially the ones hiding in plain sight that could be worth more than you think. Today, we're diving deep into the 1968 D. Lincoln penny. You might have one of these in your pocket change right now, but is it a hidden gem or just, well, 1 cent? Spoiler alert, it's mostly worth a penny, but there are some interesting factors that can make it worth more. Stick around because I'm about to break down the history, key features, errors, and, of course, how much collectors are actually paying for this coin. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. Alright, first things first, why do people even care about a 1968 D penny? It's not rare, it's not a mistake, and it wasn't blessed by the coin gods. So what's the deal? In 1968, the US Mint was still recovering from the whole coin shortage of the 1960s, which is why there are a ton of these pennies floating around. The Denver Mint alone struck over 2.8 billion of them. Yes, billion with a B. That's more pennies than bad first dates I've been on. And let's just say, there have been a few. It's made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which means if you melted it down, which, by the way, is illegal, the copper alone would be worth more than a cent. That's why older pennies are often hoarded by collectors and metal enthusiasts alike. Now, here's where things get interesting. A regular 1968 D penny in circulated condition. 1 cent, yep, still a penny. A slightly nicer one. Maybe 5 to 10 cents. But if you have one in uncirculated, mint state condition, think fresh out the bank shine, then we're talking anywhere from $5 to $1.20 at the absolute top tier, cream of the crop, most beautiful 1968 D penny ever. One sold at auction for $4,312.50. Imagine turning a penny into over $4,000. That's like winning the coin lottery. Here's where things get juicy. Error coins are where the money's at. Look out for these, double die obverse. If Lincoln's face or the lettering looks a little shadowed, it might be a double die error, and collectors love these. Some have sold for $100 plus, off-center strikes. If your penny looks like someone printed it while half asleep, leaving part of the design missing, it could be worth $50 or more. NOFG error. Some pennies are missing the FG initials on the reverse. Felix Schlag was the designer, and this can increase the value to $20-50. Repunched mint mark, RPM. If the D looks like it's been stamped twice, it's an RPM error, and some collectors will pay extra for it. So next time you see a 1968 D penny, grab a magnifying glass. It might just have one of these quirks that turns your penny into a mini payday. Alright, story time. A few years ago, I was rolling up pennies to take to the bank because, adulting. I almost dumped a whole roll of 1960s pennies before I noticed one that looked kinda weird. I checked it under a loupe, because yes, I'm that person, and it turned out to be a 1968 D with a double die. Ended up selling at $4,150. Moral of the story? Always check your change. Your bank teller will thank you, and so will your wallet. So, what did we learn today? The 1968 D penny isn't exactly rare, but if you have one in mint condition or with an error, it could be worth way more than face value. And who doesn't love the idea of finding money in their own pocket? Before you go running off to dig through your couch cushions, don't forget to subscribe for more coin tips, tricks, and hidden treasures you might have lying around. Hit that like button if you found this helpful, and drop a comment below. What's the best coin you've ever found? Thanks for hanging out with me today, and hey, what's up, coin lovers? Have you ever heard of a coin that's so sneaky, it could walk right past you without even being noticed? You're holding it, it's right in your hand, and boom, it's worth more than what you thought. Well, today we're diving into one of those exact coins, the 2009 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Yes, you heard that right. A penny. But not just any penny. This little guy might be hiding a nice little treasure. And don't worry, we'll make sure you spot it before it walks away. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's get into this. Who even cares about pennies anymore? Well, my friend, that's where you're wrong. Sure, we've all had our share of complaints about pennies. They're a pain in the pocket, they get lost in the couch cushions, and let's not even talk about those loud, annoying sounds they make when they drop on a hard floor. But here's the thing, some pennies aren't just spare change. Oh no, they could actually be worth more than you might think. Now, if you're still with me, let's break down this little sneaky coin. We're talking about the 2009 Abraham Lincoln penny without a mint mark. A lot of you might be going, wait, there are mint marks. Yes, indeed. Mint marks are tiny little letters on the coin that tell you where it was made, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia. But in 2009, some of these pennies came out without any mint mark at all. Here's where it gets interesting. Most pennies from 2009 have a mint mark, and you'll find a lot of them floating around in your spare change. But when you find a 2009 penny with no mint mark, that's where things start to get spicy. You see, these unmarked pennies were minted in the Philadelphia Mint, but for some reason, they were released without that little letter on them. And that makes them a bit rare, which means they could have some value beyond just 1 cent. So, what's the actual value of this sneaky penny? Well, it's not exactly going to make you a millionaire, unless you somehow find a stash of them, but I'm not making any promises here. But right now, the current market value for a 2009 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is about $1.80. Yes, that's right, a penny worth $1.80. Crazy, right? You might want to go check your coin jar right now to see if you have one sitting in there, but let me clarify something first. Not every 2009 penny without a mint mark will be worth that much. You need to look for certain details to ensure it's in good condition. A penny that's in mint condition, with clear features and no wear, is obviously going to be worth more. But even in decent condition, this little gem still holds some extra value. So, I remember a time when I was going through my old change jar. I'm sure you've done it too, shaking it around like it's going to magically reveal treasure. Well, on this particular day, I actually found a 2009 penny with no mint mark. I thought to myself, okay, this is just another penny, no big deal. But then something caught my eye. It didn't have the usual D or S. I googled it, and to my surprise, it was one of those rare no mint mark coins. Now, I didn't rush out and sell it or anything, but it did get me thinking. What else could be hiding in my collection? It's like I was unknowingly sitting on a small treasure chest. That moment was a huge aha moment for me. And I bet it could be for you too. So, if you've got any 2009 pennies laying around, don't just toss them into the "I don't need these" pile. Take a second to check for that mint mark, or lack thereof. It's simple. Grab a magnifying glass, and start with the front of the penny, where Abraham Lincoln's portrait is. Look to the right of his shoulder, just under the "In God We Trust" phrase. This is where you'll normally see the mint mark. If you don't see anything, then congratulations, you might have a winner, but don't just look at it and say, looks good. Condition is key. A penny with scratches, heavy wear, or discoloration won't fetch much of a price. Ideally, the penny should be in pretty good shape. So if you find one that looks almost brand new, you're on the right track. Alright, folks, let's wrap this up. If you're digging through your old coins and come across a 2009 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark, don't just toss it into the "I'm not going to deal with this" jar. It could actually be worth more than you think, around $1.80 if it's in decent condition. That's nearly 180 times its face value, so, here's my challenge to you: check those jars, check the couch cushions, and check your wallets. You never know what you might find. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe for more tips, tricks, and strategies to find coins worth money. Trust me, you're going to want to stay tuned for more awesome content about coins that could change your pocket change into something much more valuable. Drop a comment below if you found anything interesting in your own coin searches. I want to hear about your treasure hunts. And hey, don't forget to hit that like button if you learned something new today. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and accidental treasure hunters. Ever dug through your couch cushions or gone through an old jar of loose change and thought, hey, maybe there's a hidden gem in here? Well, today we're diving into one penny, literally one, that could be worth a lot more than its face value. Yep, I'm talking about the 1976 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Hold on to your change purses because this little guy might be worth more than your coffee order at the fancy cafe down the street. Stick around to learn everything about this mysterious penny, how to spot it, why it's worth more than just 1 cent, and how you can cash in on your lucky find. By the end, you'll have the tools to become a savvy coin collector with some serious, mint condition knowledge. Let's get started. Okay, let's talk about this penny. The 1976 Abraham Lincoln penny, but here's the twist: it has no mint mark. Yeah, you heard me right. No D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, just a simple blank spot where the mint mark should be. So, what does this mean for you as a coin collector? Well, let's break it down. First things first, why does the lack of a mint mark make a penny stand out? Typically, US coins will have a mint mark to show where they were made. In 1976, pennies were being produced in the Philadelphia Mint, but here's the kicker, some pennies came out without any mint mark at all. A little mystery, a little rare, and that's what gives these coins their potential value. Now, let's talk numbers. A regular 1976 penny is worth, well, 1 cent. But a 1976 penny with no mint mark can be worth, drumroll, please, around $1.70, sometimes even more depending on the condition and the buyer. I know, you're probably thinking, hold on, I've got 50 of these pennies in a jar somewhere. Am I sitting on a gold mine? Well, not exactly. Let's talk about what makes this penny special. See, most 1976 pennies you'll find have the mint mark on them. But the ones without the mint mark, especially in good condition, are rarer. They are a cool little anomaly in the coin world. It's like finding a 4-leaf clover in a field of 3-leaf ones, rare, lucky, and worth holding on to. And if you're lucky enough to find one in what we call uncirculated condition, meaning it's basically brand new, never been in circulation, then you could be looking at a value closer to $3 or even more. Cha-ching. That's like finding a hidden treasure at the bottom of your change jar. Honestly, I was once the person who threw pennies into a jar and thought, who needs these? They're worthless. But then, one day, I decided to get a little curious. I went through my jar, and boom, there it was. A 1976 penny with no mint mark. I had no idea at the time it was worth anything, but I kept it, just in case. Fast forward to a few months later, and I sold that bad boy for a sweet $1.75. Let's just say, I had a lot more fun buying snacks with my found fortune than I ever did tossing pennies into a wishing well. True story. So, here's the deal, it's not going to make you rich overnight, but this penny could be a fun way to dip your toes into coin collecting. And who knows? Maybe it's the start of a whole new hobby for you. Alright, so the next time you're rooting through your change jar, take a closer look at those pennies. The 1976 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could just be sitting there, ready to boost your collection, or at least your snack budget. If you enjoyed learning about this little coin treasure, hit that like button. And if you want to hear more about coins worth money, rare finds, and tips to build your collection, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss out on all the cool coin knowledge I've got coming your way. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever dug through your pocket change and thought, hey, this looks special? Maybe I've got a fortune hiding here. Well, you're not alone, I've been there, and I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten way too excited over a penny, only to later find out it's worth, well, a penny. But there's one little copper coin from 1981 that might actually be worth more than its face value. That's right, I'm talking about the 1981 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And no, this isn't some fantasy coin we're talking about, it's real, and it could be worth $1.60 or more, so, stick around because today, we're diving into what makes this coin so special, how you can figure out if you've got one hiding in your change jar, and why this penny isn't just a piece of metal to toss into the jar to collect dust. Oh, and trust me, this will be way more fun than your last history class. Ready? Let's get started. Okay, first things first, let's talk about why the 1981 D Lincoln penny stands out. This coin was minted at the Denver Mint, and while it looks just like any other penny at first glance, there's a specific factor that makes it potentially worth more than just 1 cent, the minting error. Yup, we're not talking about some random limited edition commemorative penny here, this one's all about a small detail that could make a big difference. Now, you might be asking yourself, wait, how much can a penny really be worth? Well, my friend, depending on the condition and the specifics of that penny, we're talking about $1.60 or even more. That's right, a humble penny could be sitting in your collection, just waiting to be discovered and potentially worth over $1. Trust me, I know, it sounds like a too good to be true situation, but when you start looking closely at the right pennies, you might just strike gold. Okay, let's break it down. The value of this penny doesn't come from just being old, it's about the condition and any possible minting errors that can make it stand out from the crowd. For a 1981 D penny to be worth $1.60, or even more, it needs to be in mint condition. We're talking about a coin that has almost no wear and tear. A shiny, crisp penny that's aged like fine wine. In fact, if you find one in gem uncirculated condition, you could be looking at even higher value. Now, about that mint mark. The D stands for the Denver Mint where the coin was struck, but when it comes to value, it's not just about the D. It's also about the quality. Most pennies minted that year are mass-produced and common, but a well-preserved one, with no dings or scratches, is the one you want. But here's where it gets a little tricky. If you come across a 1981 penny that's been well-worn from circulation, the chances of it being worth more than a penny drop significantly. So, condition is everything. So, how do you check if your 1981 D penny is a hidden gem? Well, let me share a personal story here, because who doesn't love a good story, right? A few months ago, I was at a coin show, browsing through some old pennies, and I stumbled upon a 1981 D penny that looked like it had seen some serious action. It was scratched, bent, and had that general, been through a lot, look. Naturally, I thought it was just a regular penny, not worth much. But then I got curious and took a closer look. Under better lighting, I noticed something odd. The D mint mark on the coin was a little bit off-center. That didn't seem right. Turns out, I had found a minor minting error, which can sometimes increase the value of a coin, especially if it's rare enough. After getting it appraised, I learned that the value had increased just because of that small minting quirk. It wasn't the $1.60 jackpot, but it was still a valuable lesson for me, and it taught me that paying attention to the details really matters when dealing with rare coins. So, how do you know if your coin is worth money? Here's what I suggest: look at the condition. If it's shiny and fresh looking, you're on the right track. Use a magnifying glass or a loupe to inspect the fine details. If you're unsure, don't hesitate to get it appraised by a professional. It may seem like a lot of effort for a single penny, but trust me, if you can identify a coin that's worth more than its face value, it can be a game changer in your coin collecting journey. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where can I find these pennies? Well, my friend, that's where the hunt comes in. You could have a 1981 D penny sitting in your change right now, just waiting for you to notice it. That's right, every time you grab some coffee or pay for your lunch, you could be staring at a small treasure. If you're serious about it, consider checking your change more often. You might be surprised at what you find. Keep your eyes peeled for coins from the 1980s in general. Some of them, like the 1981 D penny, are surprisingly valuable. You can also check through rolls of pennies at your local bank, or even ask around if friends and family have any old coins lying around. You never know where you might find a diamond in the rough. Alright, now that we've gotten all the details about the 1981 D penny out in the open, let me leave you with this: coin collecting isn't just about finding rare treasures. It's about learning, appreciating history, and, let's face it, having a little fun along the way. So, if you have a 1981 D penny sitting in your collection or hiding in your change jar, go ahead and give it a second look. It could be worth more than you think. And hey, if you want more tips on rare coins, coin values, and some fun strategies for finding hidden gems, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll keep bringing you all the tips and tricks to help you level up your coin collection game. I promise we'll have a lot of laughs, a lot of learning, and maybe even a few more pennies that are worth more than they seem. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more coin-worthy advice. Stay sharp out there. Hey, coin lovers! Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, is this just pocket change, or is it actually a treasure? Well, let me tell you, sometimes a penny can be worth more than you think. And today, I'm talking about one penny in particular. The 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You might just be sitting on a little goldmine and not even know it. That's right, folks. If you've got a 1982 D Lincoln penny in your pocket, you could be looking at more than a cent's worth. We'll dive into its value, why it's so special, and how much it's worth right now on the market. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this. Because, spoiler alert, it's worth a lot more than you'd think. Let's jump into it. So, what's all the hype about this 1982 D penny? Well, first off, let's get some basics out of the way. The D stands for the Denver Mint, which is one of the two U.S. mint facilities that produces coins. The other is in Philadelphia. The 1982 D penny is a pretty standard-looking coin on the surface, right? You've got Lincoln's familiar face, the one that's been gracing our pennies since the 1900s. But here's where things get interesting. 1982 was a very special year for pennies. This was the year the U.S. Mint made a huge change. They switched the composition of the penny from 95% copper to 97.5% zinc and a little copper coating. That means, before 1982, the penny was made mostly of copper, and after 1982, it's mostly zinc with just a thin layer of copper. And that tiny change created a pretty big deal for collectors. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with the 1982 D penny? Well, in that year, the mint also created some pennies that were heavier, made from the old copper composition, and others made with the new zinc one. So, you've got two different types of pennies minted in 1982, but one big difference. Here's where it gets really cool. The 1982 D copper penny, yes, I said copper, is rare. Only a handful of them were made, and they didn't stick around for long because the mint quickly transitioned to the new composition. This makes that 1982 D copper penny super valuable. Now, I know what you're thinking, okay, but how much are we talking about here? How much is my penny worth? Well, here's the fun part. Depending on its condition, the 1982 D copper penny can be worth anywhere from $1.50 to a lot more if it's in mint condition. Yep, that's right. Just by having one of these little copper nuggets, you could be holding a coin that's worth much more than its face value. In fact, some collectors will pay top dollar for a really nice one. But, here's the big but, you have to make sure it's the right kind of penny. Not all 1982 D pennies are created equal. Some are just your standard zinc pennies, and they're worth, well, about a cent. But if you happen to find one of the rare copper ones, you could be looking at some serious coin. And no, I'm not pulling your leg. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, but it's definitely worth keeping your eyes peeled for. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, before I got into coin collecting, I thought I could find a gold coin just lying around on the sidewalk. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to find treasure, right? So, one day, I was walking down the street and I spotted something shiny. I picked it up, thinking, this is it. I found a gold coin. But nope, it was just a dull penny. Turns out it was a 1982 D zinc penny. Not the treasure I was hoping for. But hey, it was a good reminder, always check your pennies. You never know when the right one could turn up, and you might be a lot richer than you thought. So, to wrap it up, if you've got a 1982 D penny, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Especially if it's one of those rare copper ones. And who knows, maybe you've already got a hidden gem sitting in your jar of loose change. The moral of the story is, don't underestimate your pocket change. You could be one lucky find away from cashing in on some serious coin. If you want more tips on finding valuable coins and other hidden treasures, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more fun and informative videos coming your way, so stay tuned. And hey, if you've ever found a rare coin or had a funny coin hunting experience, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Remember, you might just have a treasure sitting right under your nose, or in your pocket. Catch you in the next one, coin enthusiasts. Keep those pennies safe, you never know when they might turn into something worth more than a cent. Hey there, coin lovers. Alright, imagine this: you're rummaging through an old jar of coins you found in your grandpa's attic, or maybe it's just the loose change in your car, and you stumble upon a 1993 penny. At first glance, it seems pretty, well, average, right? But hold on, did you know that penny could actually be worth more than just 1 cent? Yep, I'm talking about the 1993 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This little copper coin might be worth a lot more than you'd think, and I'm here to tell you why. Now, don't go tossing it in your just a penny pile yet. Stick with me, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of this 1993 D penny, the market value, and how to spot one that could potentially be a hidden treasure. If you've ever thought, why are pennies even worth collecting? This video is going to change that. So grab your coins and your curiosity, and let's get into it. Alright, let's break it down, starting with the basics. The 1993 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark, and like all pennies, it features Abraham Lincoln on the front. But, before you just roll your eyes and think, yeah, it's just another penny, hear me out. First off, the 1993 D penny, in its regular form, is worth, well, 1 cent. Shocking, I know. But here's where it gets interesting. While the penny itself doesn't have any huge printing errors or rare variations, its value can skyrocket if certain conditions are met. And trust me, these are the pennies you should be paying attention to. Let's talk about the condition of the penny. Like with any collectible, condition is key. If you find a 1993 D penny that's in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth far more than just the face value. We're talking anywhere from a few dollars to upwards of $1.40, depending on its grade and demand. Not bad for a coin that spent most of its life bouncing around in your grandmother's couch cushions, huh? And yes, I know what you're thinking, a penny is worth $1.40. No way. But, hey, don't take my word for it. Coin collectors are out there, and they are willing to pay for certain pennies in good condition. Some of these collectors are looking for coins to complete a set, or maybe they're just after the specific year and mint mark of a certain penny, like our 1993 D. And this is where the coin's history really comes into play. So, here's a little trivia for you. The 1993 D penny was part of a series of coins that were minted during the early 1990s. You might think, hey, that's not that old. But in the world of coin collecting, even a penny from the 90s can hold some value, if it's in good shape. Over time, as more and more pennies get lost or worn down, the ones that are well preserved become rarer and more desirable. It's like finding a vintage baseball card from the 90s. Sure, there's a ton of them, but if you find one in mint condition, it could be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. Now, don't get discouraged if you don't have a perfect, mint condition 1993 D penny just yet. Let me tell you a quick story about my first coin hunt. So, there I was, flipping through coins in a random old jar my dad had. I was so sure I'd find something super rare, like a 1909 SVDB penny or something, right? Instead, I found a 1993 D penny. At first, I almost laughed and thought, yeah, right, this is worth nothing. But then, as I did a little research, as one does when they get excited about something new, I found out that, with the right condition, it could actually be worth a decent amount. I was like, wait, what? Is this a real thing? So, yeah, it turns out that penny I almost tossed in the jar of meh actually had some value. Moral of the story? Never, ever underestimate a penny. So, what should you look for if you're hunting down a 1993 D penny? First, keep an eye out for mint condition. If it's got no scratches, it's shiny, and it's got sharp features on the face of Lincoln and the surrounding details, that's what you're after. These pennies will be the ones worth more than their face value. You also want to check if the coin has been well preserved over time. If it's been through a bunch of dirty hands or been sitting in someone's change jar for years, chances are it's not going to be worth much. But if it's looking good, clean, and shiny, you might just have a winner on your hands. Also, don't forget, some pennies that have been struck incorrectly or have a noticeable error can be worth more too. Minting errors can make a coin a lot rarer, so if you come across a 1993D penny that has an odd feature, like a misprint or double die, you might want to get it appraised. But let's be real, these mistakes are rare. You'll most likely be looking for well-preserved, good condition coins. Alright, so let's wrap this up. The 1993D Abraham Lincoln penny might not be the rarest coin in the world, but if you find one in mint condition, it could be worth a lot more than you'd expect. Plus, if you're one of those people who love to dig through old coins like I do, you know that the thrill of finding a valuable one is worth its weight in gold, or, copper. So, what are you waiting for? Go check your coin collection, or that jar of change sitting in your living room, because you could be sitting on a small treasure. And remember, it's not just about finding pennies that are worth more than a cent, it's about having fun, learning something new, and who knows? You might just make some extra cash in the process. Before you head off to check your coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on any future coin tips. I'll be here every week with more insider info on coins worth money, coin hunting strategies, and maybe even a couple more hilarious coin-related mishaps. Hey there, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters. Have you ever thought you might have a small fortune hidden in your change jar? Well, what if I told you that an Abraham Lincoln penny from 1996 could be worth way more than a penny? Yes, you heard that right. If you've got a 1996D mint marked Lincoln penny lying around, you could be sitting on a potential gold mine. Okay, maybe not gold per se, but definitely something worth more than its face value. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting and uncovering the surprising value of a 1996D Lincoln penny. Let's get started. So, what makes a 1996D Lincoln penny worth $1.30 when most of us are used to seeing them worth, well, a penny? It's all about the mint mark and the condition of the coin. That little D on the coin. It's not just there to add a bit of flair, it actually tells you something about where the penny was produced. In this case, it's from the Denver Mint. That tiny detail might not seem like much, but it's part of the equation that could add extra value to your coin. Now, if you're like me, you probably remember when pennies were just a few cents in value and not something you'd obsess over, right? Well, I'll be the first to admit that I wasn't a serious coin collector until I stumbled across a few rare ones in my spare change. Funny enough, I remember a time I was sitting in a diner, eating pancakes, best pancakes ever, by the way, when I noticed a 1996D penny in my change. I almost tossed it into my pocket with the rest of the coins, but something told me to take a closer look that I decided to look it up, and boom, turns out, this little coin was worth way more than I ever imagined. Sure, it wasn't a golden penny or anything, but seeing that $1.30 valuation really made me feel like I had just unearthed a hidden treasure in my pocket. It was a reminder that sometimes, the things we overlook might be worth more than we think, so, let's break down why that 1996D penny might be worth $1.30 today. First, it's important to know that not all 1996D pennies are worth that much. The value hinges on factors like the condition of the coin, its rarity, and the demand in the market. A coin in great condition, free of scratches, wear, and tears, is naturally going to fetch a higher price. So, before you go celebrating, take a good look at the coin in your pocket. In general, the 1996D penny isn't exactly rare, but it is one of those coins that collectors are keeping an eye on. Minted in large quantities, these pennies are still floating around out there, but it's the condition of the coin that can really set it apart. A penny that's been sitting in a drawer for decades, untouched, might be in better condition than one that's been through 100 vending machines and the laundry. The lesson here? Condition is key. Don't just go thinking that every single penny is worth more than its face value. You gotta get picky. Now, let's talk numbers for a second. Even though the 1996D penny isn't extremely rare, its value can still be pretty significant. Collectors look for coins that were either poorly made, have unique imperfections, or that were part of a low mintage run. In this case, the 1996 D penny falls into the minting quality category, which means that a pristine specimen can fetch upwards of $1.30. It's not exactly a life-changing amount of money, but hey, if you have a whole jar full of them, you could be sitting on a nice little stash. That's the beauty of coin collecting, you never know when you might hit the jackpot, but here's the kicker, not every coin is going to have the same value. What really adds the value is the collector market. If a coin becomes scarce or desirable, that's when the price skyrockets. And that's why you might hear about collectors paying crazy prices for pennies from the past. So, if you have a 1996 D penny, keep it in a safe spot, take care of it, and make sure it's in the best condition possible. And don't be afraid to get it appraised if you think it could be worth more than you're expecting. After all, it's better to know than to let that potential treasure sit in a jar collecting dust. So, there you have it, the 1996 D Lincoln penny might not be a goldmine, but it could be worth more than you think. Whether it's a $1.30 penny or something rarer, it's a great reminder that value is all around us, sometimes hidden in plain sight. And who knows? You might have a few little treasures tucked away in your pocket or your coin jar that could surprise you. Before you go off searching through your change for that next lucky penny, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join me for more tips on coins that are worth money. If you love coins, love finding unexpected treasures, or just love learning cool stuff about the stuff we use every day, this is the channel for you. And hey, next time you're munching on pancakes, keep an eye on your change, you never know when that next rare penny might pop up. Thanks for hanging out, and remember, coin collecting doesn't have to be just about the money. It's about the joy of discovery and, of course, finding those cool little pieces of history tucked away in your pocket. Hey, coin lovers! Ever found a penny in your couch cushions, thought you were rich, and then tossed it aside like it was just another scrap of metal? Well, let me stop you right there, because some pennies, believe it or not, are worth way more than their 1-cent value. Take the 2012 Abraham Lincoln penny, for example. Yep, you heard me right, the one with no mint mark. Stick around, because today, we're diving into why that simple penny in your pocket might be worth a whole lot more than you think. And spoiler alert, it's not just because it's from 2012, so grab your magnifying glass, get comfy, and let's figure out if you've got one of these rare gems on your hands. Alright, let's start with the basics. You might be wondering, what's all the fuss about a penny? Isn't that like pocket change? Well, yeah, but sometimes, pocket change can be worth way more. In 2012, the US Mint decided to produce pennies with no mint mark. The mint mark, for those who don't know, is usually that little D or S you see on most coins. If you're looking at a 2012 penny and it doesn't have one of those little letters, you might have something pretty special. Now, here's where things get a little spicy. A mint mark is typically there to tell you which mint facility made the coin. You've got the Denver Mint, D, the San Francisco Mint, S, and the Philadelphia Mint, which, get this, doesn't usually put a mint mark on coins. So, the absence of a mint mark on that 2012 Lincoln penny actually means it came from Philly, specifically, the Philadelphia Mint. And when we're talking rare finds, that little Philly twist can add value to your coin. But don't get ahead of yourself just yet. Not every 2012 penny without a mint mark is a gold mine. You're probably thinking, hold up, $1.20. That sounds like a typo. But it's true. Well, mostly. A 2012 no mint mark penny is technically worth around $1.20. If it's in uncirculated condition. That means it's basically pristine. No dings, no scuffs, just a shiny penny that's never seen the inside of a cash register or a penny jar. But here's the kicker. The market's not as simple as it seems. Not every 2012 no mint mark penny will fetch $1.20. It's all about that condition. If your penny looks like it's been through the ringer, maybe it's a little dirty or scratched up, it won't get you the big bucks. However, if it's shiny, clean, and practically flawless, well, now you're talking. And here's something I bet you didn't know, if you've got one of these babies that's still in mint condition, it could go for even more, depending on the demand. In fact, some collectors will pay premium prices if they're trying to complete a set or need that one specific coin. I mean, who knew pennies could get so fancy, right? Okay, let me hit you with a quick story. I remember once, I was cleaning out my dad's old coin jar, looking for any rare finds, and I was getting all pumped up. I mean, the thrill of the hunt, right? Well, after about 20 minutes of digging, I found what I thought was a rare penny from the 80s. I was feeling like I had struck gold, so I rushed to the coin dealer, practically skipping, ready to cash in on my treasure. Turns out, it was just an old penny. And when the dealer saw it, he was like, "Oh, that's cute, but nope, not rare." So, yeah, that was a letdown. Moral of the story: you don't want to get your hopes up until you really know what you're looking for. So don't just assume that any old penny is a goldmine, but also, don't be afraid to double-check your coins. You never know, you might just have something more valuable than you realize. Alright, so let's pause for a sec. I know it might sound like I'm talking you out of chasing rare coins, but trust me, even if you don't find a 2012 no mint mark penny in mint condition, coin collecting is still one of the most fun and rewarding hobbies out there. You get to dive into history, learn about different eras, and sometimes, just sometimes, make a nice little profit. Plus, there's something oddly satisfying about holding a coin in your hand and thinking, wow, I can trace this back to a specific year, a specific mint, maybe even a specific person who once held it. It's like owning a little piece of history. A penny might not seem like much, but when you think of all the things it's passed through in its life, well, that's pretty cool, don't you think? So, what's the takeaway here? The 2012 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, while not the biggest coin in terms of value, could definitely be worth more than your average penny. If it's in good condition, it's certainly got potential. And if you're looking to start coin hunting, don't just throw your change around like it's all the same. Take a closer look at those pennies. You might just find something worth way more than $0.01, before you go running to your couch cushions and drawers, though, remember, condition is king. And while $1.20 might not sound like much, keep hunting and learning, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find your own hidden treasure. Now, if you enjoyed this coin talk, or got a laugh out of my penny mistake, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and coin collecting strategies to share with you, and who knows? Maybe next time, you'll find the coin that really makes you rich. Alright. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. Are you the type of person who checks your change with a magnifying glass like you're on a treasure hunt? Or maybe you're just looking to get that extra dollar you didn't even know you had tucked away in your pocket. Well, today is your lucky day because we're talking about one of the coolest coins in circulation today, the 2013 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yeah, you heard me right, a penny that doesn't even have a mint mark. If you're scratching your head thinking, what does that even mean? Then sit back, relax, and I promise by the end of this video, you'll be well on your way to understanding why this tiny copper coin could be worth way more than you think. Alright, let's get into it. First things first, if you're looking at a 2013 penny and you're wondering why it's got no mint mark, you're not the only one. Here's the deal: usually, pennies will have a mint mark that tells you where they were made, either in Philadelphia, no mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. But, in 2013, the US Mint made a little oopsie that led to some of these pennies being released without a mint mark. It's like when you forget to put the lid back on the peanut butter jar, but in this case, it's a rare and valuable mistake. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, so how much is this penny worth? Surely it's just, well, a penny, right? And you're kinda right, but also kinda wrong. Let me break it down for you. When it first hit circulation, this penny was worth exactly 1 cent. Shocking, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Over time, collectors started realizing something special about these mintless pennies. In fact, they're now worth up to $1.10 or more in the market. Yeah, a measly penny can be worth over $1. It's like finding out that your favorite pair of socks is actually worth more than you paid for them at the thrift store. I mean, who knew? Now, I'm sure you're asking, how do I know if I've got one of these valuable little treasures? Simple. You need to look for the absence of a mint mark. If your 2013 penny has no mint mark right below Lincoln's shoulder, you're golden. It's like your very own get-out-of-jail-free card, but instead of saving you from being bankrupt in Monopoly, it might just put a little cash in your pocket. Here's a fun story from my own life. There was this one time when I was going through a box of pennies I found at a yard sale. It was one of those boxes that smelled like a mix of dust and mystery. I started sifting through the pennies, and let me tell you, I felt like Indiana Jones in a thrift store. I pulled out a couple of 2013 pennies and noticed something strange: no mint marks. I was shaking with excitement. I ran to my computer, typed 2013 no mint mark penny value, and the search results blew me away. I had accidentally stumbled upon pennies that could be worth more than a fancy latte at the local cafe. Yeah, they weren't exactly retirement money, but they were a cool find, and I felt like a coin-hoarding superhero for a minute. Anyway, back to the value part. These 2013 pennies are still in circulation, so it's totally possible to find them in your change. And if you do, don't just throw them back into your jar of loose coins. Hold on to them. Keep your eyes peeled, and who knows, you might just find a small fortune in your pocket change. And here's another pro tip for you: if you're serious about making a little coin off your collection, be sure to check the condition of your pennies. A well-kept 2013 no mint mark penny in pristine condition could fetch more than a beat-up one. Think of it like this: a shiny penny is like a fresh pair of shoes. You want it looking its best for the value to go up, right? But hey, I get it. We all have a tendency to toss things aside sometimes, thinking they're not worth much. In fact, the other day I found a bunch of old receipts in my jacket pocket. Yeah, I'm that person who collects receipts like they're rare artifacts. But wouldn't you know it? One of those receipts was for a nice dinner I didn't even remember paying for. It's like finding a 2013 penny in your laundry. So, the lesson here is, don't dismiss those pennies too quickly. Okay, let's wrap this up. If you're looking to make some extra cash with minimal effort, just check your change. The 2013 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a great example of how small details can make a big difference in the world of coin collecting. It might seem like just a little penny, but in the world of numismatics, yeah, fancy word for coin collecting, every little thing counts. So, there you have it, folks. If you've got a 2013 penny with no mint mark, go ahead and give it a second look. You could be holding on to a tiny gold mine, or at least a dollar bill with a great story behind it. And hey, if you're just starting out with coin collecting, this is a great way to dip your toes into the hobby without breaking the bank. Remember, coins aren't just for change anymore, they could change your bank balance. And if you want to keep getting tips, tricks, and treasure hunting stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're talking more coins, more money-making ideas, and a lot more fun here. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. Alright, happy hunting, coin collectors, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay curious and keep those pennies close.